All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to week one of Aegis Guardians League. I'll be your play-by-play caster, Jason, your 5, Jason. And today I'm joined with the Commissioner of the League, Ivar, to be alongside my colorcast. How's it going, man?
Doing good. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. The sun's shining. It's a wonderful morning where I am, 12 hours away from the States. But nonetheless, I'm ready to cast some great League of Legends. And today's matchup is going to be looking like Dreadzone Gaming Tartarus versus Valor Bulls United Pluton.
Yeah, it's week one, so a bunch of fresh slates for these teams. We know some of the players on some of these rosters from previous splits, but everybody comes in with that 0-0 record, so they're going to try to, start off strong in week one here and make a name for themselves going through the regular season. I believe both these teams are in Zon Division and getting word that we're going to be going straight into draft here, so draft has started.
Yeah, getting to bans here, and we see Kaisa coming out from the side of Tartarus as the first ban. And Kaisa is one that's really interesting for me personally, because when I observe a lot of the pro leagues and things like that, Kaisa actually feels like it's fallen my priority. So it is definitely like, maybe I can be proven wrong, or maybe it's just like a difference of like either caliber. But Kaisa is definitely still one of those like really strong picks if like she really gets taking off, right?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these picks and bans are going to be target bans at the very least in this elo. They're going to be off people's op.ggs and what they play, and that's why they're banning these champions. The Ivern ban specifically, I would say is one that really stands out to me. And we see the Seraphine hover coming out for first pick.
Yeah, I mean, back last split, back then when we had the whole LHG ordeal, Seraphine was, one of those huge picks that was either banned or first pick. It's such a strong, impactful pick, and it's locked in for Dreadzone Gaming Tartarus. That ultimate is really just still such a broken ability if you really line it up properly. You see Xin Zhao being responded from a hover from Valor Bulls.
The Xin Zhao is being locked in here, R1. Super strong jungler right now. Super oppressive, so it really can take over a game. I really like that pick coming out from Valor Bulls, and like you mentioned, the Seraphine is super high in priority, so it's a strong pick coming out from Tartarus here on the blue side as well.
Yeah, actually, and I think the Xin Zhao actually does slightly counter the impacts of the Seraphine ult, because, like Xin Zhao's kind of present strike in the ult radius really kind of negates some of the ability for the rest of the team to follow up with damage onto the Xin Zhao. So unless the Xin Zhao's like right in or jumping straight in, which is what he wants, it's really hard for Dreadzone to find a perfect Seraphine ult if Xin Zhao's a target that they want to be lining up with that first or second ult bounce. And we see the Karma as well. Karma's really great pick, and Ezreal isn't banned yet, so unless DZT are gonna pick Ezreal here, Karma Ezreal's a really strong bot lane as well.
I would say it's one of the strongest, but we see the Braum hover coming out for the side of Dreadzone here. They're going to lock that in. I do like the Karma. It's a lot of flexibility coming out from VBU here. It can go mid, go top, can go support. So not really indicating too much with what they want to do with their draft. But then we see on the side of Dreadzone, they're locking in that Nocturne. Flexible pick as well, can go lane, can go jungle. Recently nerfed in the lane, the Nocturne pick, but still a flexibility there for both sides.
Yeah, and I mean, DZT's comp is starting to kind of take its shape here. Nocturne is going to be the one that's, turning the lights off and jumping in. And it seems like there's going to be all this follow-up with the Seraphine ult, Braum ult, and things like that. But one thing is that the Braum gets locked in pretty early. So that means that means the Seraphine's probably either going to be mid, or maybe even, kind of bot Seraphine as well. That could be a possibility. So you see Jinx locked in for VBU.
Yeah, we saw a couple of the AP bot lane carry picks last night in our Protectors League. We saw the Seraphine, we saw the Ziggs. So I'm wondering to see if DZT is going to do that here. But like you said, Braum was locked in, so it's not going to be that support Seraphine that we see every now and then. But we're going through the second phase bans here. We see the Malphite and the Zera taken off the field.
Yeah, and then the Zereth and Malphite definitely. I mean, Malphite definitely is a pick that really looks to shut down VBU's comp, so it's a really good like kind of value band there. But it does kind of. I think it's also kind of strange as well, because then if DZT do get to pick Malphite here, they are kind of running low on damage as well. And so he's Shen banned as well. Shen Nocturne, a really deadly combo. If the Nocturne ults in, then Shen follows right up. That's kind of an instant two-man delivery, and that makes dives or starting up team fights so much easier for them as well.
Yeah, really smart band coming out from VBU with that Shen pick for that, lights off, stand united delivery system that Nocturne can provide. But I'm interested to see what DCT bans out here. It's the Nara being hovered, and it is banned away from VBU.
Yeah, Gnar is definitely one of those champs that, is a bit weaker now with that Stride Breaker change, especially because he loses that dash. But Gnar is still a very strong champion. The ability to harass with his range in lane, as well as once he gets his Mega Bar charged up and is able to really impact the game that way.
Whoa.
So it's be a brand. Wow.
Insta lock
Insta
coming
lock
out.
as well. Yeah.
So that can be brand support. It can be brand mid. We don't know where the karma is going just yet, but that's going to throw a big loop into the draft here from VBU because that's not a pick you see too often here in competitive play.
Yeah, I think SMLZ and the LPL played it once, but I think it's a really good pick actually, because you have Nocturne, Braum, Seraphine. These are champions that inadvertently are going to be bunching up together, and we have something like a brand who presses E or presses R. That's going to be instant conflagration spread. That's going to be instant passive stacks, and if I see a world with even if VBU are behind a couple thousand gold, one good brand ult could literally flip the entire game around. So that's a really surprising pick coming in from the side of Valor Bulls.
Yeah, we definitely seen him go up in priority since that old change where it's able to, self bounce. So it's the solo lane brand kind of had a little stint there for a patch or two where people started testing it out. It didn't really stick in the meta too heavily, but it's definitely a strong pick. But on the side of DCT, they round out their comp with that Ashe ADC being locked in and the Urgot, which is probably going to lock in the Seraphine mid lane.
Yeah, and once DZT's top has taken shape, so it's gonna be Urgot top, looking like Nocturne jungle, Seraphine mid, and then Ashe Braum bot lane. And I think this is a really good. I think these are really good lanes for the side of DZT. You have Urgot, who's kind of this mini ranged harass, who's able to really like do value damage at percent health with those shotgun knees, especially into a Cho'Gath. You have Seraphine, who can just auto shove waves and sustain herself. And Ashe and Braum is a lane that, once if a Braum tags you with that Q, you're just gonna get kind of autoed down to death. So it's really down to how VBU executes as well.
Yeah, I mean, we see the Cho'Gath lock in, like you mentioned. This Cho'Gath Urgot matchup in the top lane can go either way. Um, I'm just really interested to see where this brand and Karma are going. We'll most likely find out once client draft starts here shortly, but I'm expecting it to be brand mid lane here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think brand support into Ashe Braum is definitely going to be very challenging, because if the brand gets poked, if the brand wants to poke, but if the Braum tags you, then you basically die. You don't really have a reliable escape mechanism, and you have to rely on skill shots to be able to kind of shift your way out of being hit with the winter's bites. And
Hmm.
so I think brand mid makes a lot of sense because he can match the wave clear that Seraphine has, and whereas Karma can't as well. And then Karma's shielding and that type of value really shines, especially when you're peeling someone like a Jinx. And I think when we move to the mid game, we're definitely going to see VBU start to ball up, because the Mantra inspired E, that's very strong for their ability to kind of run into Dreadzone and kind of set up their ability to, kind of do damage and actually play out a fight instead of getting zoned away by their Seraphine ult, Ashe ult, Braum ult, these kind of tools that really prevent them from going in reliably.
Yeah, we're going through client draft now, but I like you mentioned, I think the group up snowballish comp that not snowball, I want to call it almost like a death ball, like just run at you comp that Valor Bull has here is good, but it can also have a very negative effect to the Seraphine pick. If they line up in that linear pattern, Seraphine has the potential to hit some of those massive ultimates in some team fights, which can really turn the course of the game. So we're gonna have to watch out for that. But like you mentioned, Xin Zhao can block that with that Crescent Strike. So there's a lot of outplay potential from both comps.
Yeah, and now that I think about it, from the side of Valor Bulls, I actually think it's going to be really hard for them to reliably engage, because if the Xin Zhao isn't ahead, it's going to be really difficult for the side of Valor Bulls to run into champions like Urgot, Seraphine, Braum, Ashe even. And so I see a lot of the early game being reliant on the lanes being able to withstand the pressure from the priority lanes that Dreadzone Gaming have, and being able to support the jungler when the time is needed. And once they hit a certain breakpoint, I think maybe around third dragon or something like that, that's when they flip the switch and decide to go in. because if they fall behind in the lanes, or if the jungle matchup falls behind too much, it's going to be really hard for them to start up a fight reliably without a miracle flank angle or something that can really turn the tides here.
Yeah, and something that I really preach at this gold, even plat level, even low diamond level, having comps with agency is very important in competitive play because you can fight on your own terms. Like you said, if this Xin Zhao is not able to get a lead and is behind, the side of Valor Bulls can't really pull that trigger if they find an opportunity. They're going to kind of have to wait for Tartarus to come into them. And sometimes that's not the best landscape. But we do see this brand being locked into the mid lane here for BTG.
Yeah, I'm really interested in the brand pick. I think, there's a lot of things that can there's a lot of things that'll determine how effective this kind of brand is. It's a lot of this can depend on, rune choices, build choices, what ability he maxes as well. Because I know for some brands, if it's confidence on hitting skill shots, they can go for W max. But if they want the more reliable thing, they can go for something like a Q max or E max. And so, even those little things can vary. And I think a lot of it is going to depend on how he lanes as well. Because a lot of the time, confidence on a champion really comes from your ability to lane with it. And so, I'm definitely very excited to see this brand pick kind of go in action here.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about this bot lane matchup a little bit. I feel like the Braum Ashe lane is very oppressive in terms of if somebody just gets slowed or tagged by either of them, they're going to get instantly CC'd down. I do like the cleanse coming out from counters here, recognizing that that Enchanted Crystal Arrow exists, Braum passive exists. So she's definitely going to need that cleanse. But with that being said, there is no heal in the bot lane for the side of Valor Bulls. So that can be a little bit of an exploit coming out from DZG here.
Yeah, I think one thing is that, Nocturnal is such a powerful tool as well. Like, you turn the lights off, you shoot a Ashe ult or even a Braum ult, and then instantly that's a 3-man dive bot with some very strong CC to start it off as well. It's going to be really reliant on how Ghost TP uses his shield and at what moment he decides to use it. Because if he uses it randomly to E forward and go for a trade, that's DZD Tartarus' window to strike back. Karma has no move speed. You tag her and then you can just kill her in this case, especially with no heal from the side of Jinx. And with an early game, that's definitely more on the side of getting oppressed rather than applying pressure as well.
Okay, but I think we've harped on draft as much as we can here, so we are going to cut it to a quick break here while we wait out this spectator delay. So just bear with us, folks. We'll be back in about 2 to 3 minutes here for Game 1 of Week 1 of Aegis Guardians League. All right, folks, we are loaded onto the Rift here for Game 1 of this Best of 3 series. My name is Ivar. I am joined with my beautiful play-by-play class caster Jason. You here?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm ready for some good old Summoner's Rift action. See 5 men for the side of DZG walking towards this mid side, looking kind of dangerous. Ghost TP could be in trouble here.
Yeah, this 5-man stack coming out in this bush, like you mentioned, and Ghost TP sees it. He's gonna try to walk away. Yeah, he should be
Get the
safe
ward
here.
as well. And I think I saw, Urgot got that ward as well, so that means he's going to be able to hit level 2 earlier in the top lane. Definitely
Yeah.
a very important thing for top laners as well. So Evil Gambit definitely going to have to think about how he's going to be able to use that slight XP lead there.
Yeah, I think as long as you hit that ward, you get the XP for it. So he got the final blow, so he definitely got the XP. I'm more interested to see if Ty here on the Seraphine hit it as well, because then he also will be hitting level 2 on that first wave.
Absolutely. And as a result of that invade, we see that there was a ward placed in the blue buff on the side of Dreadzone Gaming, and so definitely be able to have some good jungle tracking here. We have the counter ward just to stem off any potential invade, as we're kind of moving into the laning phase here, and so it's gonna be dark. It's gonna be Dark Harvest on the brand for the side of BTG here. So definitely pretty interesting.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna want to try to take over the game with that Dark Harvest, get some of those stacks as the game goes on. But we'll see how that goes out. We're seeing this early game top lane fight going on a little bit here.
As a Maltrigo counters gets tagged by the Braum passive there, but the Jinx range from the rocket is still quite long, so definitely not able to utilize it yet. But I expect more of that to happen, and definitely more opportunities where DZG is going to be able to use that Braum passive to their advantage here.
Yeah, and we see both junglers starting on that bot side with the leashes from their ADCs, and they're working their way
Oh,
up towards
Counters
top
might be in
side.
trouble here. The hits level 2 coming in from the side of DDG. First cleanse forced out by the side of Counters. Ignite drop down from possibly Purple. Ghost TP walking in trying to get one more auto. Tagged by the Braum pass as well, forced to flash away. Best Plunger still autoing in one more auto for the stun, but the minions are in the way for the W. Counter tries to get some trade autos back in, but it looks like a good trade for the side of DDG. VBU definitely not respecting that level 2 advantage
Yeah.
that they didn't get.
Yeah, there's definitely kill pressure now in the bot lane, especially with this with the side of VBU not having this heal available. Cleanse was already used. They're about half health here, so if they get tagged by some more of these passives coming out from Braum, they're gonna be in some trouble. But we see potential gank or counter gank in the top lane here. Looks like something's
Yeah,
about to explode.
Yeah, it looks like Underage Rat was walking in trying to get some invading going on, but the Xin Zhao reveals his position. So definitely just kind of a little bit of a Texas standoff kind of in the top lane. So we see, Evil Gambit really pushing in Killer Unicorns here. Cho'Gath definitely is a matchup where a lot of it is just kind of taking that punishment, especially from a ranged harass such from like Urgot.
Yeah, and it looks like that top scuttle was conceded over to underage Rat here on this Nocturne, and he's gonna go in here in the top lane.
Yeah, Underage Rat does get the fear tagged on, but doesn't look like there's enough damage there. And, looks like it's just a bit of chunking out. Cho'Gath is pretty good at healing, especially with that passive and the Torrent's Shield. Glada
Yeah.
is on the bot side, looking at that Scuttle Crab, and as a good response, DZG's bot lane does choose to back off here.
Yeah, they recognize that the Xin Zhao is on the bot side of the map here. Xin Zhao is going into that jungle, so the side of DZG, their bot lane, needs to uh, go to safety and recognize that there's some potential. Oh, we see a flash burn. Yeah, flash burn coming
Yeah,
out from
Flash
the
Burn Rep
Cho'Gath.
from Killer Unicorns. Like, kind of not respecting the fact that, Nocturne was just top, kind of walking up again, thinking he'd be safe. In this case, the kind of coin flip bet he made kind of doesn't really pay off because, he's forced to burn his flash as a punishment. The big wave crashing into the side of DCG looks like they're going to have a considerable CS lead. Looks like CS is even in the mid lane as well, with Nocturne slightly ahead, as well as top lane.
Yeah, top lane has the most substantial lead here. Evil Gambit really taking control of this lane. Has about a 10 CS lead. There's some CS going into the tower here for Cho'Gath. He should be able to pick it up, but there's about like that 300 gold lead here. Actually, it looks like it's not
Around
too
200.
crazy, around 200, which is not too bad just for a CS lead at 5 minutes here. But I do want to touch on the brand here is not getting punished for this pick, and the later it goes, the stronger this champion's going to be in terms of his burst potential. So he's getting to free farm a little bit here with the Seraphine, but on the contrary, Seraphine also getting through this laning phase pretty safe. Gonna probably go back and go for that sustained build, but we
Oh,
see it.
see an early dragon here. Underage Rat is getting chunked out by this dragon, very much forced to flash out of the pit, possibly Purple also tagged by the Karma, but Evil Gambit does cancel the teleport or Killer Unicorns. Some trading going on the top side, and it looks like they're going to disengage from the dragon for the side of DDG. It looks like VBU might be able to pick it up as well, especially because Nocturne just had to burn flash.
Yeah, even with that TP stop, the side of VBU is able to get that dragon because Nocturne was trapped in the pit there, low HP, and he had to, use that flash to get out of the pit, and they decide to concede the dragon over. It's fine to just give the first drag and not kills, but if you get caught, oh, fight in the jungle here.
Oh, Underage Rat gets caught. He didn't use the E on the Zindan knockup, but the Flea coming out. Glada forced to use the smite onto the big raptor. Some bit of jungle tussling here. Seraphine's not there yet. It's a 2 versus 1. Brand is level 6, misses the Q onto the Nocturne, but it shouldn't matter. Glada, one more auto, gets the first blood for the side of VBU, but possibly Purple and Best Plunger here. Glada misses W onto Best Plunger. Ash is cutting away. Braum jumps back, but the Brandal looks like it kind of whiffed there. Seraphine all the way from downtown. Doesn't even get the assist though. Best Plunger picks up the kill onto Glada. 1-for-1 trade, but first blood going to the Zinzak, who definitely is really enjoying that extra 400 gold there.
Yeah, great rotation coming out from DZG's bot lane here. They lose 2 plates for it, it looks like. Yeah, 2 plates will be going over. But I do want to mention here, interaction I was not aware of, but it looks like if Braum uses that stand behind me shield and jumps in front of whoever is getting that brand ultimate, it's going to just stop it right there. It's not going to bounce to anybody. That's that interaction we just saw there. So that's going to be something very crucial to watch in these team fights as this game progresses.
Yeah, I think, the Braum is definitely going to be saving that, E for that Brand ult because there's not really any major projectile that DBU is going to be sending out that's worth for the Braum block. Maybe the Jinx Rocket as well. So definitely going to be very interesting to see how that kind of micro interaction works. As you
Yeah.
see, kind of as the kind of, aftermath of the fight, we kind of have a decent CS lead in the bot lane. And top lane's actually evened up as well on the side of Evil Gambit before he's catching this wave. But definitely on the side of the jungle matchup, we have the Zinza who definitely feels a bit more ahead in tempo now with that first blood kill.
Yeah. So Evil Gambit was able to actually get a back off, did not have to blow his TP. The Cho'Gath hasn't been able to recall and use that TP bot lane that was interrupted that we saw here. So this lane state is very favorable for Evil Gambit right now. He can continue to shove in this Cho'Gath wave after wave as long as he's safe, and be able to punish the lack of items in the inventory of Cho'Gath here. The one thing Cho'Gath has for him is that he is playing Cho'Gath, so there is a lot of sustain in that kit. With every minion that dies, he will be receiving HP and mana back, so he should be able to stay safe, but he won't be able to take any fights.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Ashhold going down onto the Karma, but Underage Rat jumps onto Jinx, flash blown out from counters, doesn't get the cleanse off to ignore the fear, but Ghost TP might be able to get out as well. The tether onto Underage Rat, the Ignite going down onto Underage Rat as well. Looks like it's going to be a pretty good trade from the side of VBU. They'll take the Summoners for their lives anytime. Counters trying to get some counter damage onto the side off Best Plunger, chasing kind of away, but there's a huge minion wave there, and counters looks kind of out of mana here. Doesn't really look like they can pursue the play anymore.
Yeah, big miscommunication coming out from DGG there. The arrow lands onto one person and they Nocturne ult the other. They're not able to focus down the same target, so they get nothing for that play, just some summoners. Hopefully, Underage Rat is able to, repeat that gank once his paranoia is back up. But as for now, VBU should be in control of the. Oh, the ultimate
wow,
comes
the Jinx
out.
Rocket gets the kill. Definitely counters really good awareness there, using the kind of understanding of the execute damage, being able to pick up the Ashe there. Possibly Purple wasn't able to jump onto him in time. Nocturne coming here, full mana again, looking for... No, he's just going to pick up the wave. But in the meantime, it looks like Xin Zhao got the Rift Herald is going to invade the top side jungle. So definitely very worth the side of Valor Bulls.
Yeah, and that's a really big wave there that Ashe just lost. It did not go to complete waste, Nocturne picked it up, but that was about a 10 to 12 CS wave that just went into tower that should have been Ashe's. Not to mention, the 300 gold kill that was just given over to counters by the delayed reaction from Braum to be able to block that. But we see this tower being focused down by the mid and jungle of VBU.
Yeah, and it looks like, they're pushing, trying to get some more plates in and maybe be able to use this Rift Herald before that 14-minute mark here. We are aware of that Rift Herald execute onto that tower, and it is looking pretty low. The tower is looking pretty low for the side of DZG here, but looks like they're just going to back off.
Yeah, they're just going to back off. They have the Herald available. Potential, first, maybe some fighting going on.
Yeah, looks like some rotations. Both AD carries haven't made the move yet. Priorities on the lane remains relatively same, but Counters does have that level 7. Looks like they're going to jump on the crab. They could be looking for a fight here. BBU are kind of stuck in the corridor here, but Brand is here. Huge Brand ult going down. Surfing ult, being able to get 3-man. Orgop TP coming down in. Best Puncher trying to hit away. Nocturne, all the lights are turned off, and it looks like a double kill for the side of Underrated. That definitely redeeming himself for that prior failed gank in the bot lane. And as a result, and a reward, DZG are able to pick up this Infernal Dragon.
It's that combo I was talking about. If they walk in that linear path, they're going to get Seraphine ulted, they're going to get Braum ulted, and they're going to get completely deleted like we just saw there. Great awareness from Evil Gambit to TP in, use that TP advantage to make sure they're able to secure that fight and pick up their first dragon of the game. And now, next objective on the map is looking like it's going to be Rift Herald most likely here, but I think for now, teams are going to settle down a little bit to try to catch some of the CS.
Yeah, and it kind of goes down to that Brand pick as well. Even though BTG was at a good angle there and did press that R button, you didn't really see any passives go off there. And so definitely kind of a weakness there that, the Brand pick didn't really fully utilize this. See, flash coming in from the Brand, BTG flash forward, gets the stun on T. Tai also having forced to flash away, doesn't really result in any kills, but Summoner trade in the mid lane, Killer Unicorns with a good roam there, definitely utilizing the window where his wave was pushed in.
Really would have liked to see Glada here use this Herald a lot earlier when that dragon was spawning in the mid lane here. Drop that Herald, force the rotation from DZG to defend that mid lane tower and then get first prio in the river for this dragon. But nonetheless,
Looks
the
like it's
usage
gonna
here,
crash into mid lane. Yeah.
yeah,
And they're
usage
sending
here,
4 people mid, so splitting the gold here, not as effective, but being able to knock down the mid tier 1 is very important, and you know, getting that early damage on there definitely helps them for when the next dragon comes up. Because
yeah.
if they
They
push
don't
mid,
really
that
get it
tower
though.
looks like, yeah.
There's a great wave clear that comes out from that Seraphine and this Nocturne here. So they're able to clear those minions pretty quickly with just 1 or 2 abilities. I think you really want that goal to be given over to at least 1 or 2 members, like you mentioned. The 4-way split is not as effective, but they're able to get something from the Herald, right? It's good they used it before the 14 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I was just saying like it should help for when Dragon is going to be coming up soon, because the moment they push out mid, they're gonna have priors. Astral goes down to Ghost TP. Ghost TP is caught out with nothing to do. Nocturne, the lights are off, jumping onto counters. Counters does have the cleanse, but they're gonna go on the Xin Zhao Zed trying to peel away for the Ashe. Best Puncher flashes forward, gets the kill, but Brand ult goes down as well, kills the kill onto the Nocturne shutdown, going towards BTG in the mid lane. This Brand is gonna be starting to move online now. 1-0-1 with that shutdown kill onto the Nocturne, definitely looking for a Liandry's buy here as we see a 2-for-2 trade down from the fighting bot lane.
Yeah, and we're gonna see a potential fight in the top lane here. Ultimate being used by Evil Gambit, but doesn't look like anything's gonna come from that. I do like the focus coming out from the Ashe. Ashe recognizing that she was most likely gonna go down, so she opts to, you know, flash forward and go aggressive to make sure she's able to pick up that counter kill onto counters. But in the top lane here,
Yeah, Evil Gambit, gets E gets cancelled by the knock up there. Definitely Urgot trying to look for the kill there. You see the ult was used from the side of Evil Gambit, definitely looking to apply a lot of pressure onto the Cho'Gath, but the Cho'Gath is getting tankier. You see his health was relatively healthy, and that, you know, he's not really like, you know, getting much of an impact in terms of dying, but losing a lot of plates, dropping some CS as a result. This lead is slowly starting to build more for Evil Gambit.
Evil Gambit definitely. I think the top lane is actually pretty close. I think the scaling will go towards the side of the Cho'Gath because it's Cho'Gath. He does, you know, scale pretty well here. The side of VBU here, I think overall scaling is okay. The problem is, like we mentioned in the Jam Select, the lack of agency, right, to be able to start these fights. I think that's going to bite them as the game goes on, because as of now, we're seeing most of these fights being started off the back of this Ash Arrow, the Seraphine ult, the Paranoia. Nothing has been started on VBU's terms.
Yeah, and you know, minute until the first Ocean Drake is gonna come online, so you know, I expect and hope to see some recalls coming in. As we see Cho'Gath in top lane gonna be able to recall. Definitely getting vision is gonna be a very important thing in these team fights, especially with the potency of the flank of some and of the flank ability that some of these champions have. You know, a good Cho'Gath flank or a good Brand ult as a flank can really mess up the side of DZG. And so, you know, I'd like to see them try get some recalls in or move to the dragon. But it does seem Glada is posturing for this Rift Herald. Underage Rat uses that shield a bit early. He's not going to be able to get the knockup, but the fear going on onto Glada, forced to use the curse side. Urgot ult tags him. Looks like it's going to go into the meat grinder for him. Evil Gambit picks up a kill onto Glada, but counters on this other side. Ooh, Best Puncher walks into the Jinxie, but counters forced away by the slow. Karma root coming down, but counters does pick up the kill onto Best Puncher here with that Super Mega Death Rocket. A 2v1 kill in the bot lane. A bit careless from Best Puncher to not give up the lane when his support isn't with him.
Yeah, I mean, the side of DCG there, you know, making a play on the top side of the map, but VBU recognizing that the support had roamed up, and they opted to, you know, go aggressive on the bot lane here and able to get something in return and actually taking the gold lead here for themselves. As I say that Herald is spawned here in the mid, that might swing the gold a little bit, but TP's coming out for this dragon.
Oh yeah, really good rotations from the side of DVG here. Even though Best Puncher did get careless and get caught out there, you know, Ashe is still able to retain some usefulness by establishing vision with that Hawk Shot. And the teleport coming in from Evil Gambit really helps them to secure the dragon, which I thought would have went to the side of VBU after they all committed to a play in the top side. But good rotation, good movement to be able to get there on time and kind of establish their priority and secure the objective.
Yeah. That's the second dragon going over to DZG. We didn't mention it, but it is an Ocean Soul here, so we're going to see, you know, a little bit more of those pushes on Summoner's Rift here. Some more fruit snacks in the river, like I like to call them, for both teams. But I think that's a serious win condition for either team if they're able to pick up that Ocean Soul.
Yeah, I mean, like having something like Ocean Soul really prolongs the ability to take extended fights, and for champions like Jinx, Xin Zhao, like they definitely like that. You know, being able to auto attack and kind of restore health would be really important for them. So
I,
definitely a focus that I'd like to see from VBU is just setting up these dragons more.
I do want to point out here that the Seraphine opted to not go for that defensive build, going for that Leandries. I don't know if I like it as much. I think their team already has so much damage. Going for that sustain in team fights with that Moonstone, Arden, or Staff combo would have been better with like a little bit of a tier for mana sustain. But opting for the damage, so those ultimates are going to hit pretty heavily here if they land.
Yeah, absolutely, and Seraphine being the only source of magic damage here is definitely going to help the case. But that one thing is definitely, like you mentioned, the lack of utility if they have maybe decided to be banking on the fact. But counters, flashes in, gets stunned, doesn't get a kill onto the Braum. Ghost TP might be in trouble here. Forced down by the slow from the Ashe W. Counters, goes. Oh my goodness, so much fighting going on, but gets caught here. Both the Braum tagged him up. Blessed Puncher gets the kill onto the Jinx and onto the Karma here. Definitely overstep and a miscalculation of damage from the side of VBU here. But Glada is in the top side looking to pick up the kill onto Best Puncher. W tags the Ashe, but the lights are turned off. Nocturne is going in. Is he going to be able to get the kill onto Best Puncher? Yes, he does with the W. Picks up the shutdown, but Underage Rat is going to get able to rake the claws of Glada here with that Nocturne. As we see, so it's going to be an overall 1-for-3 trade for the side of DZG. Definitely worth it.
Yeah, but at the same time, DZG keep getting these trades in their favor, but the gold lead is still staying marginally in favor of VBU. And coming up on 19 minutes here, I would say dead even in goals. We got a pretty close game on our hands here.
Yeah, it looks like mid tower is going to fall down for the side of VBU as well, so mid lane definitely open up more. But look at that giant purple Wern Killer Unicorns looking pretty tanky here. Definitely wants to be able to set himself up to be looking like he's going to be in a really good spot for this dragon.
Yeah, dragon spawning here in the next 2 minutes. Next objective on the map will be the Baron. I don't think any team has the lead or is poised to, take that 20-minute Baron.
Yeah, but Evil Gambit might be caught out here. Counters and Ghost B are moving down here. Killer Unicorns, Tanky can take up the damage here. Evil Gambit really doesn't have anywhere to go. Does have the flash, but it looks like it's just going to be a dead Urgot here. Maybe trying to get the kill onto Ghost TP here, but doesn't get the ult execution. Killer Unicorns noms down on the Urgot. Crab is for dinner tonight.
Yeah, the Urgot gets nommed down. Killer Unicorns picks up another stack here on this Cho'Gath, excuse me. I do want to mention here a little bit of the itemization. We still see that double Stride Breaker coming out for the side of the top and jungle for DZG. The item was nerfed a little bit, but it still has a lot of agency, especially on those champions. The slow it provides when the champions are trying to stick onto an enemy is huge, but Glada gets hit by this arrow.
Wow, Glada, they know they're in the bush, but Killer Unicorns is right there as well. Rawmount goes down, does get the slowdown. Best Puncher is trying to kite away, but getting chunked out. Cho'Gath Q picks up the kill onto Best Puncher. Possibly Purple might be in trouble here as well as the Jinx Rocket fires away to nothing, but 2 kills going to the side of VBU for free a minute before Dragon spawns, and it really means they're going to be able to push the Vision advantage in this red side jungle.
Yeah. And this is something that we don't see too often from teams that I really like from VBU. They're pushing their advantage, and as they're pushing their advantage, they're pushing their vision line. They're able to go for more and more of these picks, and they continue to do it. And I think this next dragon should be theirs just off the vision they have alone.
Yeah, absolutely. And right here, looks like DZG are even struggling to head into their own jungle securely. VBU have done a really good job with securing vision in that kind of line 1, line 2, being able to set up for the dragon properly. And so even though Cho'Gath's coming out of base, there's still a lot of priority that VBU have purely because DZG just can't see.
Yeah. And they're spending a lot of their time here inside of DZG to clear these wards, but it looks like they're taking the right path. Excuse me, right path here, pushing this mid wave and coming through mid, not going through that choken river. They're able to posture correctly here, the side of DZG, and this is going to be very crucial. This team fight is going to be won by Seraphine ult if it lands. If not, this team fight should
Nocturne does have the ultimate here. Underage Rat uses his shield early. Seraphine ult gets 2, but counters, force the Gale Force away and use the cleanse already. Jinx gets 1 shot by the Nocturne. Urgot goes in with the execution. Cho'Gath does pick up the dragon with his ultimate, but Glada is in the front line. trying to chop away, but looks like he's going to be not too long for this world as well. As the Ash picks up on the kill, but Underage Rat is kind of low here, trying to get some damage onto Killer Unicorn. Fear Tether going on Cho'Gath, forced to flash away, but Nocturne does kick up the shutdown onto the Cho'Gath. Best Plunger is chasing onto BTG. BTG who has no flash. Looks like he's going to be died as well. Stunned up, shutdown going towards the breath. Going towards the Ash. It's going to be a 1 for 5 on the side of DZG, but VBU does pick up the Dragon on the other end.
Yeah, VBU picks up that Dragon, but the side of DZG pick up 4 kills. Going to be 2 towers, bot tier 1, mid tier 2 going down here as the rotations come out. And like I mentioned, that Seraphine ult lands onto 2 members, which forces the Cleanse and the Gale Force out of counters and just leaves him as prey for the Nocturne. But we're going to see...
Underage Rat!
Underage Rat tanking a little bit too much there and getting solo killed by the support, and Shirelia's coming out.
Shirelia's going down. Jinx is going to be able to kill movement from the side of Tai. Counters, just needs that one more shield, but Ghost TP gives it to himself. The RQ picks up the kill onto the Seraphine, but the teleport coming in from Evil Gambit is going to land onto the traps from the side of Jinx. Counters kind of poking away at this giant crab here, but it looks like it's just going to be, you know, Underage Rat and Tai both kind of walking up way too far and getting punished for, you know, just kind of greedy positioning.
Yeah, a bit of an overstay coming out here from DZG's jungle and mid there, which is going to result in Baron being started up from VBU. They definitely have the damage for it. I don't know if they're going to be able to finish it though, because the side of DZG can definitely stop this. But we see the TP coming out from Cho.
Yeah, Tai will have teleport once Seraphine spawns up as the E goes down onto Ghost TP. Ghost TP is gonna look like Karma's gonna die here, but Poppy Purple also very chunked out. Nocturne, the lights go off and going in. Picks up the kill onto the Xin Zhao. The Cho'Gath kind of there on the sideline, trying to tank as much damage and do as much damage as possible. Cho'Gath taking up very much, but huge Seraphine ult. Gets the charm onto counters and Ghost TP. Ash picks up the kill onto the Brand. Seraphine picks up onto the Jinx. Double kill on the side of Ash. Looks like another 5 for 1 from the side of DZG. Great team fight played out. Wow.
That encore was beautiful, perfectly landing onto the 2 key targets at the end of that team fight coming out from Tai, charming up the Jinx and the Karma, and they both get picked off there at the end of that team fight, resulting in just Cho'Gath there getting shredded down, and that was an ace with Baron being picked up from DCG, and they just blew the gold league wide open. 5k gold lead now coming out of DCG.
Yeah, and you know, really great props go out to Evil Gambit. They're really able to position and play the team fight really well, jumping onto the Karma and kind of negating the value of the shielding that, you know, the Karma is able to provide, and then starting to pick away at kind of priority targets. You see from that choke point, you know, GLaDOS didn't really have an angle to jump on the key carries. Killer Unicorn was kind of just standing on the side trying to, you know, poke away at the Urgot, and the Brand really didn't even get as much value as well. So overall, it was a really hard team fight for the side of VBU to play out, and it was kind of a worry that we had when we were in draft. You know, if the Xin Zhao isn't able to kind of reliably get on the targets, team fights will be difficult.
Yeah, it's tough because we keep mentioning it, but it's the agency that's not there for VBU. We saw how easy it was for DZG to walk into that. Oh, arrow comes out, and as I'm talking about agency, they go for another play.
Yeah, Nocturne, all Knights go off again, but Ghost TP does have the Shirelius, does have the shield, kind of using the movement there. Ignite going down, will it take away onto the Karma here? But Nocturne, Q Underage Jack picks up the kill. GLaDOS goes in, 2-man knockup on the side of Killer Unicorn. Science going down, but Encore, look at how Brahma comes down, Us Puncher on the side, free hitting, but so is Counters, trying to get as much damage as possible. Tagged up by the Seraphine, he's definitely looking like a positive trade from the side of DZG here. As are they looking to continue the fight? Ash W trying to look out for the poke, but looks like mid tower is going to fall, and 2 for 1 at the end of the fight.
Yeah, and that was a 4v5, Jason. Evil Gambit was not in that fight. He's been taking this bot tier 2 here for the side of DZG this entire time. So that just shows how far ahead they are, and these encores have been on point.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely looking like Ariana Grande with the quality of the singing there. But another thing I want to point out is also, you know, the AD carry itemization difference. You know, even though Counters had such a great early game lead, the Gale Force and Runons definitely provides a lot less damage than the Kraken Phantom Dancer that Best Plunger has picked up. And not to mention the level lead they have. Look at the levels on the sides of DDG and DPU. Huge gap there as well.
Yeah, the Kraken Phantom Dancer is very key to be able to have somebody on the side of DCG to get through this Cho'Gath. And I do also like this Chemtech Purifier being picked up second for the side of Seraphine, providing that AoE anti-heal for their team as they use their shielding, AoE shielding. So they're in position to fight for this third dragon here, but Cho'Gath does have that feast, so he can definitely look to try to steal this.
Yeah, but again, the angle's so difficult for BBU. They're playing this narrow choke point. One Brommel or, one Urgot just standing there. As you see the Shirelli's going in, but they're going straight into the Encore. Knocked up from the Brommel as well. Best Puncher hitting away for free onto the Cho'Gath, but Poppy Triple on the front, tanking the damage from counters. Counters trying to get the auto attacks again, tries to get the resets, but nothing much as a result. Underage Rat does get the Guardian Angel blown, but you see the side of the damage deals from VBU couldn't get in and couldn't deal the damage that, they provide.
It looked good for a minute there from VBU. The Runan's autos, the brand passive and AoE coming out in that choke, but it just wasn't enough damage to get any of the resets coming out for Jinx. And that results in the third dragon being picked up for DZG, putting them on soul point.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes down to just where that team fight took place. They're fighting through that narrow jungle entrance, and so even though Ghost TP uses like the empowered shield and like the Shirelius to kind of move them into place, it's still really difficult to kind of sprint into something like a Brommel, a Seraphine ult as well, and it's just kind of they're setting themselves up with failure by positioning awkwardly, and they should be looking for fights coming through the river or these more open areas of the map where they can really kind of spread out and then flex their wings here.
Yeah. It's hard for the side of VBU to play these fights now. We mentioned that if they're behind, Xin Zhao can't really do much, and that's the position they're in right now. The four members on the side of DZG all have shutdowns, so VBU needs to start looking for picks to start claiming these bounties. This might be one here. Rupture Lance. Looks like he's going to be able to walk it out. Arrow Lance
coming down, possibly throw flashes over. Nocturne, all the lights are off again onto the Jinx. Counters, no cleanse. Double pick there for the side of DZG. Great awareness and great, kind of priority and initiative from the Ashe to be able to just fire ahead and say, let's go for it.
Yeah, and this Ashe Nocturne combo has been on point, barring that first mishap in the first bot lane play where they focused the wrong targets. Since then, it's been on point. They've been able to pick up these kills every time it's been used, and they're resulting in more towers and more gold for their team, and they're going to stretch this gold lead to 10k here as they pick up that top tier 2.
Yeah, and if we look at the item discrepancy here, it's really starting to show as well. You're seeing like a lot of these third items come out for the side of DVG, while the side of VBU people are like, only starting to build the initial components. And so the longer that this kind of gold lead exists, the more it's going to be where DZG are just slapping VBU with their wallets here.
Yeah, there's just going to be a econ check eventually. If they can't match the DPS and the HP bars of DZG, VBU is just going to have to turn over and die essentially. There's not much they can do. They have to go for these picks. They're getting the vision right now, trying to sweep out their jungle. But I think with this Nocturne and Ashe combo that has been so on point, the side of DZG is in the driver's seat for the time being.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of it is going to be that, VBU are going to want to run into DZG, but DZG are more than happy to oblige in this situation because, again, they're holding such a narrow choke. This kind of entrance from the red buff jungle into the river is kind of being maintained from the side of DZG, and it's really hard for them to walk up here because they don't have a good angle. Evil Gambit's on the bot lane as well, getting a split push off, so they have to pick one or the other.
Yeah, DZG is content with just standing here and positioning because they're getting stuff on the other side of the map, and VBU needs to be the one to pull the trigger, but they don't have the tools. They pop the Shirelius, but they can't do anything, and now if they start this Baron, they're just going to get engaged on. It's really, really hard to play their composition here right now. They just got to be decisive and go for broke here, and if they lose the fight, they lose the fight, but otherwise they're just going to slowly get choked out.
Oh, wait, DZG don't know they're on Baron.
They surely know now, yeah, they know.
Well, now they know, but yes. It's 3k HP here, so it looks like it could be a steal for the side of Underage Jack. Underage Jack jumps in, red team slaying the Baron Nasher, but the kill picked up instantly onto the Karma. High getting some good at damage here, but Best Plunger also able to put out some autos, counters, trying to auto away, uses the Gale for super mega dead off and goes wide. Ashe picks up the double kill onto the Brand and the Jinx, and it looks like it's going to be a very difficult game for the side of VBU. 4 people down, TP's coming into the mid lane, they're trying to look for the end.
Yeah, I mean, the one saving grace here is that VBU was able to pick up the Baron there with a Cho'Gath. Seraphine's Encore is still available here. I don't know if he knows this, but he can definitely get caught out here and charmed up, but they're just posturing to pick up this mid inhib. And I think they can go for the game. I don't know if they're going to play a little bit reserved and go for Soul, but they can definitely go for the game here. But it looks like they're leaving.
Looks like they're going to turn for Soul, yeah. I think
playing it safe.
definitely... Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say they're playing it safe. They don't want to throw the game here. I don't think it's in throwable range right now. I think they just need to dot their I's, cross their T's, the side of DZG, and this game one should be theirs. But this is definitely the more consistent call. Go for the soul, reset, and group S5 and look down the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good initiative from the side of VB to try start up the Baron and try to get them caught off guard. But, again, just stat checked by the economy and by health bars is just too much for the side of VBU. As we see, they're forcing the Dragon straight up, and Killer Unicorns isn't really looking at the pit. So Ocean Soul going to go towards the side of DVG. And at this point, you look at the heal reduction that the Brand has and the Karma has. I'm not sure even that's going to be enough for them.
Yeah, it's Ocean Soul with a Seraphine. It's super hard to get to these HP bars. Not to mention, the Sterix that are going to be available for this Urgot, and the Nocturne here, the Locket Shield that's going to come out. It's super hard to get these kills on any of the members of DZG, and that's why their shutdowns continue to grow as this game has gone on. Their CS numbers have been good, their positioning has been good, their macro has been good. They've impressed me thus far, and this game is theirs to win.
And if you look at best plunger here, CS, forget about that. More like champion score. 12 kills on the Ashe here, looking absolutely giant. 4 items as well. Has that 100% crit and is ready to rain down hell on the side of VBU. 3 items coming in from Seraphine, 4 for Nocturne, where you still have 2 on Xin Zhao. So there's definitely like we were talking about, if the Xin Zhao just doesn't get ahead, he kind of becomes a non-factor in these cases.
Yeah. It's hard. Arrow comes out, Nocturnal comes out
Arrow
as well.
comes out, but it's wide. Cho'Gath, they're looking to go attack on Titan here and try to kill the Cho'Gath here, which they do. Evil Gambit does get the free onto the side of the Glada, but again, the Ocean Soul sending him from those tower shots. Great pick from the side of DZG, looking to catch out a giant purple worm, so looking kind of lost on Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, and they have these super minions in their base, and they have to deal with their 5-man push on the top side. They're trying to poke them down, but the poke is not going to stick. They have Ocean Soul, friends. They're just going to be able to stand here and take all this poke coming out from the Brand and wait for their super minions to posture into the base and look to end this game.
Yeah, but I will say for VBU, counters is their saving grace. He does have a lot of great wave play on the side of Jinx. Those Runance rockets really are going to be doing a lot. And underage Rats, Nocturne ult is coming up soon, so they need to think about something fast before they go for another repeat play.
Even the Brand has great wave clear for these minions, but they're going to just pull the trigger.
Nocturne going down again onto the Karma once again, possibly Purple, looking to protect him from as well. Encore coming up, 5-man Encore! Going down, best plunger, getting the free auto attack. Good Cho'Gath on the counters, trying to hit away, but the Meat Grinder does pick up the kill. Counters, picks up the kill onto that huge shutdown. Jinx is looking for the reset. Underage Rat is going to come out as the Guardian Angel, but it looks like Counters able to pick up the kill. Once again, gets the resets. W slows down Tide, but stunned up. Gets the kill from the shotgun knees from Urgot. BTG trying to look to clear the way, stun up the Urgot, but looks like it's going to be a 3-for-3 even trade, but definitely really good for VBU because Jinx picking up the huge shutdowns here, looking to get a huge buy off that. Evil Gambit looking to pursue the play. Stridebreaker picks up the kill onto BDG anytime soon now. Shotgun Knees is able to pick up the execution. Killer Unicorns looking very tanky, trying to hit out and chunk out this Urgot, looking very, very tanky as well though. As Tai comes in for the support. Has that W, has that E to be able to slow and deter the Cho'Gath from pursuing anything more.
Yeah, and the composition of VBU has one saving grace. If DZG clumps up and they get Brand comboed with these Runa and autos coming out from Jinx, they're going to get completely deleted. And that's what happened there. They clumped up on that dive trying to get onto the Karma and Xin Zhao. Karma was able to pop the Shurelius to get the safety. Xin Zhao popped that Crescent Strike, and all the cooldowns were gone from the DZG. They kind of were just sitting ducks for the AoE that was coming out from VBU, and they're able to, land those abilities, put the damage down, and get those resets for the Jinx. And she was able to pick up some of those shutdowns, like you mentioned. And now able to pick up some anti-heal for herself. The IE is completed, so she does have that third crit item now. So she's online and definitely a threat to be watching in these next team fights.
Yeah, and right now the Jinx and Ashe are on even footing in terms of levels, items, and that's not good news for DZG. you would take Jinx with 4 items any day over Ashe with 4 items. And so a lot of the onus now is DGG able to close out the game properly? Ramonk goes down to zone them away. Good Seraphine Q to be able to chunk them out a little bit. They're definitely posturing for Baron, looking to get some vision advantage. But Australia's coming down from the side off Ghost TP. Glada looking to run in here. But again, the side off DGG is very tanky. It's going to be very difficult to chunk them out unless they get a perfect fight like last one.
Yeah, and the longer this dance goes on here for this Baron, the better it is for DZG, right? They have this Ocean Soul, they have the Seraphine topping them off as these posts come out. So it's better for them, but it looks like Baron is being pinged from the side of DZG, and they're going to go straight to it and start it up.
Yeah, and it looks like Evil Gambit's in a kind of awkward position here. Possibly Purple is able to zone them off. The Jinx Rocket does come down. Baron is looking pretty low here. Glada and Killer Unicorns. Killer Unicorns does have the smite advantage with that feast. Evil Gambit goes down onto Brand. Oh,
Green just cut over. Bear with us 1 second.
cut over.
Production, are you here? Sorry about that, guys, but it looks like Baron was picked up by the side of DZG, yes.
Yeah, and it looks like they played the fight pretty well, though. Looks like, Ashe was able to stay relatively untouched, and even though Counters was able to live for so long, the rest of the team just couldn't deal with the damage and tankiness that the rest of DZG have as they are looking to close out the game. We're so sorry that that kind of awkward cut happened, but, looks like DZG are going to take the 1-0 series lead and move on to close out the game in Game 2.
Yeah, it was too bloody of a fight. We couldn't show it on Twitch here. We had to cut the feed there for a minute. The 4 kills being picked up from DZG, picking up the Baron and picking up Game 1 of this best of 3 series here. Super strong performance coming out from DZG. Great resilience coming out from VBU. Thoughts on the end of that game there, Jason?
Yeah, honestly, the Urgot as well, huge there. I think 12-3 to end the game. Definitely a really great presence in that top lane as well. And I think a lot of it came down not to the draft, but rather I think some of the strategical differences that they made. Like there was a lot of times where DDG was able to just set up vision better, kind of set up priority in lanes. And because of that, this kind of repeat of this, macro advantage snowballs into their micro and is really able to affect the outcome of the fight.
Yeah. With that being said, Game 1 is over. We are going to cut it to a quick break while we get into lobby for Game 2 and get draft set up. So just bear with us. We'll be back here in 5 to 10 minutes. All right, folks, we are back. Take it away, Jason.
Yeah, we're back. Game 2, VBU have opted for blue side. DZG are going to be on the red side here, and it looks like right off the cuff, there's going to be some adjustments in terms of bans. VBU banning the Nocturne and Seraphine that were such a pain in their side from Game 1 as well. We see Kaisa and Ziggs, kind of standard bans for the side of DZT.
Yeah, sides have switched, like we mentioned. I like the Seraphine adaptation coming out here. From VBU. They definitely don't want to play against that champion like they did in the first game because those Encores were definitely crucial in those team fights.
Yeah, and I think again, Ivern kind of target ban for the side of DZT here, and Viego being banned out as well. So I'm really curious to see what direction VBU want to be moving towards. Are they going to, prioritize the Xin Zhao again, or are they going to look in a different direction with the jungle matchup? Again, there's some really big priority picks that are available. Ezreal, Karma, Xin Zhao. These are all definitely strong picks that can dictate how a team is playing out. And so, really curious to see what their option for first pick is.
Yeah, the timer's coming down. Diana being hovered. Diana locked in. Definitely a flex pick, mid-jungle flex. Usually seen in the jungle here. So, solid pick coming out for VBU.
Yeah, and I think that Diana is just such a strong pick now, especially, with her clear speed, her impact in like team fights, with that ultimate as well. It's a really powerful pick, and I really expect a lot of the way the fights are played out for VBU to be with this Diana. I think it's a very, very strong pick right now.
Yeah, we see Zach being hovered and locked in. We're seeing a lot of Zach picks recently coming up in popularity. We know there's some people in the leagues that play Zac support, but I'm guessing this is Zac jungle here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's an off chance it could be Zac top, you know? There was that period of time where it was pretty popular. You see the Thresh locked in as well. Thresh, great pick, very versatile as a support. You know, has the options for hook, has the options for peel, as we see Rel being locked in as well. Very early support locks for both teams as well. Typically, you know, not something that's as common an occurrence, but still definitely good pick from the side of DZT, and the Rel as a counter is not bad either. Would just have to depend on, you know, how the Rel plays around the flip. Ooh, Morgana being hovered as well. Could be a potential pick here.
Yeah, I like the Morgana into the Zac and the Thresh as well. Being able to, you know, provide that spell shield for some of the CC. I'm gonna take a guess here and say this is mid or support Morgana. I don't think it's going jungle. It fell in prio significantly since the nerfs. We see the Ashe being hovered again. Last game was picked up by DCG. This time VBU is hovering it, and they definitely have more. Yeah,
looks like that's gonna be how the picks are going. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good. I was gonna say they definitely have more agency this time.
Yeah, the Morgana is really able to generate a lot of lane priority. You know, that Tormented Soil, really strong being able as a zoning tool. Ashe as well with that volley, be able to create a lot of space. And that really helps out Diana, who, you know, wants, as a jungler, wants to be able to clear faster to get to level 6, where she can really start mangling.
Yeah, Jhin being hovered, Jhin locked in. Nice long range pick that can, you know, provide that utility and damage for the long range engage that Zac provides. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's like always I think like, you know, really good team fights could play out like kind of out of nowhere. If Zac gets a flank angle with his, you know, kind of elastic sling, like slingshotting in, and then Jhin follows with some ultimates and then gets lanterned in to kind of, you know, do some closing out and like executing to clean up. I think DZT have a really good way of playing out team fights, especially with how these first 3 picks are kind of playing out. You see the Gnar ban again, the Gnar, really strong champion at being able to kind of, you know, harass you in lane and then also mess you up in team fights as well with that Mega Gnar ultimate. And again, good standard ban from the side of DCT as we see what VBU are going to ban for their first ban on the second phase. Urgot. Yeah, the Urgot was definitely a problem in that first game as well.
I like the Urgot ban. So far, we see 3 out of the 5 picks from DZG in game 1 banned here from VBU by VBU in game 2 here. So nice presence of mind to recognize those picks were a problem and taking them away.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see Veigar being another ban here, definitely a kind of a niche pick here, as we didn't even see in the first game. But again, Veigar, really good ability at zoning with that cage of his, and definitely a pick that is, you know, able to once Veigar scales up, wreak havoc on towards the side of VBU here. So it's not a bad ban as well. See DZT thinking about what they're going to be picking for their first pick on the second round of draft phase.
This R4 pick is going to be the Sylas. Great ultimates to steal. Great pick coming out from Dreadzone.
Yeah, and the great thing is Sylas has, you know, flex potential in terms of mid or top, but one thing that, you know, I do see as a potential worry is that there's a decent amount of magic damage and not a lot of consistent damage from the side of DZT here. You have, you know, Jhin, who if is not going, isn't going to do as much damage, and Sylas, who if caught out, like, you know, also kind of becomes useless. So I would like to see some more damage or consistent damage from the side of DZT. But VBU also some decent responses in draft as well, playing more defensively with a kind of Diana as a kind of, you know, spring to jump back once they kind of soak up the initial pressure.
Yeah, that Rel pick is gonna indicate a Morgana mid, and the Sejuani is gonna be locked in. What's going on? Sejuani top? Diana
honestly,
mid?
That is perfectly possible. I think it could be Morgana mid, Sejuani top, and Diana jungle. Because, you know, in the LPL, there's Flandre, who's top laner for EDG. He's played Sejuani top before, and it is quite a cheese pick because you utilize the W to kind of just harass them constantly, especially since it's on a short cooldown. As you see Tahm Kench locked in here as well, and it's the rework Tahm Kench is also definitely a lot of new picks coming out in this game too here.
Oh my god, my brain is going all different directions right now. Tahm Kench versus Sejuani top, is that something we're gonna see? Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be, actually. Tahm Kench versus Sejuani top is my guess. Ashe Rel bottom versus Jhin. Thresh, the junglers will be Zac and Diana, according to my guess, and Morgana versus Sylas mid. Wow, super unique
Yeah.
picks coming out.
Yeah, definitely a lot of teams, kind of showing off their flair in terms of, what they can bring to the table here. But I think if we're looking at drafts across the lane, I think VBU's draft does slightly worry me a bit because there's a lot of magic damage on the side of VBU. Some Merc Treads and some magic resistance, and a lot of that damage a lot of the magic damage they offer is going to become tickling.
Yeah, I agree. They're able to, they made sure of it this time to make sure they can pull the trigger when they want. All 5 of their members can start a fight. So they're going to look for a lot of these picks. But on the contrary, on the side of DZT, they're able to, use that lantern to get away. Tom Kench does have that W ability to get to safety. Tom Kench can devour friendlies into safety as well. Zac is pretty durable. So there's some counters to this sort of pick comp coming out from VBU.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think moving into draft, if we're looking at kind of how team fights would have been played out, I think VBU definitely wants to jump the gun. I think all 5 of their members have an ability that wants to start a fight. And so a lot of the onus is going to be on them to kind of, pick their moments properly. But then from the side of DZT, I think this time they're going to be the ones that are kind of containing the aggression and making sure that, they survive that initial gauge, get into a position that's favorable for them, and then play out the fights.
Yeah, and we see this draft starting here. We're going to be able to see exactly where these picks are going. Which draft are you favoring thus far, just off the pro draft?
I think off the top of my head, I really like DZG's draft. I think that if we're talking about, optimal execution and in terms of, being able to play it properly, I really like how DZT's comp really has that flexibility and ability to be able to, kind of move around and adapt to situations. I think it's not bad that VBU's draft is quite linear in the sense that all they want to do is go in, because definitely seems like they need to have that after, the kind of struggle with game 1. But yeah, once again, I think I would put a slight favor towards DGG, but if they execute it poorly or they misexecute, I think definitely VBU has a much easier time punishing them and making sure that they can get away with it.
Yeah, Killer Unicorns, is he going to lock it in? We're waiting 10 seconds. Sejuani hover, and it's locked in.
Top.
I'm excited. Oh man,
definitely crazy matchups across the board here. I'm really curious to see how Tom Kench works as well.
Yeah, Tom Kench, I know we've seen it in the top lane before, not too prominent, but it's kind of moved away from that support role since the rework. We do see it in the jungle a little bit, some in the top lane. You go that tankier defensive build with Titanic potentially. But you said you've seen a little bit of Sejuani top in the LPL. Do you know anything about her build path? Does she go full tank? Does she go any AP in there? Maybe like an Everfrost? Do you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I recall correctly, the current build for Sejuani is to just be going tank. So a lot of the times, and with Sejuani especially, since she has that passive, she can be able to go Bombi Cinder straight into Warmogs and get that 3,000 health bonus. I know if Killer Unicorns isn't feeling that greedy as well with how he wants to build, he can also go Frostfire into Warmogs. Because the really good thing about Sejuani is that a lot of her damage scaling actually comes from her max HP. So the more HP she builds, the more damage she does as well, which is honestly, I think, a really strong case, for the Sejuani pick. Really be good at being able to be a tank. And also, if she jumps onto those weak and squishy targets like the Jhin and Thresh, she can be really able to wreak some havoc onto them.
Yeah, I agree. At the same time, Sejuani's ult has some big AP scaling, so that's something that we need to be cognizant of with the Sylas on the side of DCG. DCG can use that Sejuani ult against them, against Valor Bulls there with that really, really high AP ratio. It's kind of like the Gnar ultimate. A lot of people don't know this, but Gnar ultimate has a huge AP ratio. So whenever we see a Sylas steal it, it's a AoE monster in team fights. So I think the side of DCG for their mid lane, he has a lot of ultimates that he can steal. He can pretty much take any of them. They're all perfect. So it's gonna revolve around around the Sylas, recognizing which ultimate to grab for which situation.
It's definitely going to be a lot of pressure onto Ty if he is able to execute on the Sylas, because if you're behind as a Sylas, you're like a wet piece of paper. You really don't have much impact. And so I'm really looking forward to see how he's going to be able to play laning phase and if he's able to kind of sustain and make sure that the Morgana doesn't get too ahead with the perma priority she has in the mid lane.
Yeah, and we see the cleanse being taken by the Jhin here. Smart. Same situation, but in reverse as last game. Playing into that double CC lane. You need that cleanse. So I do like it, and he's going to be able to stay fairly safe. He's long range ADC. He does have that dark passage from Thresh to keep him safe. So good use there. We do see double TPs coming out, and I think everything else looks pretty standard in terms of summoner spells.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I think that pretty much covers everything in terms of draft here. I think we're safe to say that, we're going to move on to break, and then we'll catch you when we're loaded onto Summoner's Rift. All right, and welcome back to week 1 of Aegis Guardians League. Once again, I'm J-Script5, and I'm joined by Commissioner Ivar, and we're loaded onto Summoner's Rift.
I'm excited. I'm excited for the Sejuani top, the tech that I don't know about, and it's into another tech that I do know about. That's still tech, the Tom Kench top here. It's going to be very interesting to see how that lane plays out, but nonetheless, we see a 5-man stack coming out from DZG.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to be invading towards this bot side now, but they come prepared. They have a ward there. It's going to spot all 5 of them out. So now's really a good time for VBU to be able to get vision into that red side jungle, because they know this is happening.
Yeah. Volley comes out, but doesn't land.
Testing out the volley there. They don't see anyone yet. The vision, they're playing very well along the vision here. But it looks like they're just going to be able to back out. Seems like they know they were spotted.
Yeah, but I think they might go for it still. I mean, there's no word seeing them leave. I think that Zach was actually spotted going back in from that Tribush ward. I could be wrong, but they're going to continue to go for this red buff steal. But we already see Glado on his blue buff here, opting to just give this away and split the map.
Yeah, and this is actually going to be very bad for the side of DZG. It's going to be a lot of time wasted, and it's going to mean that, they're not going to be in a good spot once the kind of jungle clears are coming out, because you see Glada and Killer Unicorns are moving up, but Ghost TP kind of going in here. This is 2v3. Kind of weird, if I'm going to be honest myself. Cleanse coming down from Best Plunger. The Zac passive is hit out already, but Ghost TP is kind of caught in no man's land. Possibly Purple does land the hook onto counters. Ignite going down onto the Ashe. Underage Rat is back up again. Best Plunger looking kind of low here. Does have that 4th job, but counters, picks up the first blood. Flash up from counters as well to kite away. Double kill going towards counters. Underage Rat is looking in real big trouble here. W crashed down onto the Zac. Counters doesn't get the kill. Goes TP with a bit of a chaos, but dreadful start for the side of DZG. Really bad for the side of Underage Rat, and it looks like Glad is going to be able to get a free jungle pass this game.
What did we just see? We just saw them 2v3 level 1 with Zac passive up. What?
Yeah, I mean, Jhin doesn't have as much. I think Jhin does. I think it's the lack of damage that Jhin has. Thresh starting Q instead of going for E, and Zac starting W as well. There's no CC, a real way to kind of control the side of counters, and counters basically got the whole time of free hitting. Not to mention he had the heal advantage.
Yeah, the heal is very crucial there. Ignite as well was being burnt, but it was a beautiful 3-man engage coming off from Ghost TP there, and able to get another one towards the end of that after he got remounted. That's how long that fight went. But this bot lane is heavily in favor of VBU now, with that double kill being given over to the Ashe. And like you said, free jungle pass coming out for Glada here.
Yeah, and if you look at Pickaxe as well, coming out straight from base for counters. Definitely looking massive this game. Diana looks like ahead by, 2 camps already. I will say, though, it does look like DZG do have control over that bot lane, so maybe they can manipulate that to their favor. But Underage Rat is really the victim here. Clear has just suffered tremendous. He is down bad right now, as we say, because there's really nothing he can do on the map right now without falling drastically behind if he fails.
Yeah, and I think Glada should really be pushing this advantage here, just going for invades. There's no passive available for the Zac, and like you said, Zac is going to be behind in this early game, suffering from that clear without that leash, and he's delayed by like a minute and a half. And we see the pings coming out. They know where he is. They're going to potentially look for something, but instead the double scuttle is going to be given over to DBU.
Yeah, this kind of early game nightmare just keeps on getting worse for the side of DZG here. Really, honestly, it really came down to the ward that in that bottom tribus that really spotted out. Ooh, Ghost TP does burn the Hex Slash forward, flash forced out from Best Plunger. Again, really being able to push that early game advantage that VBU has been able to get so far.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't be surprised if they just do Dragon on spawn here. They're in the position to do it. Ash was able to get it back off already, has this pickaxe, they have the damage for it, they have the prio for it. I don't
Yeah.
think the bot lane of DZG can walk up, and if they do, it's gonna be even worse.
Mm-hmm. As you look at the top lane here, Evil Gambit does have a giant wave stacked in, crashing into Killer Unicorns. This Tahm Kench top is just really interesting. I think very unique pick here, and definitely Tahm Kench as a champion,
Flanks.
lane bully as Hook goes down on two counters. W misses, but counter's still taking away down from the Ignite. Lantern goes down on towards Best Plunger. He can take it when he wants to, but looks like they're not going to pursue for anything more. Really good hook from the side of possibly Purple. Managed to chunk out counters a lot, and a lot of that priority purely because the health lead might be just slowly slipping away. As another hook goes down on counters, but the W is not missing this time. Shut down. Oh no, it goes to the Thresh.
He earned it. There, I said it. That was two beautiful
Earned
back-to-back hooks.
Yeah, it was really great play from possibly Purple there. Counters really disrespecting the potential of that death sentence and gets punished for it. 450 extra gold going to the side of the Thresh hero of all champions. As the Tahm Kench W comes down, misses onto Killer Unicorn. Killer Unicorn still has that charge and manages to get out safely, but the wave is not looking good for the side of Sejuani, especially with Zac top and her low health. Might have to base and TP here.
Yeah. I just want to give a huge shout out for the raid. Thank you, Sprouts, for the raid. We appreciate it. Hope your games were good. We are in game 2 here of DZG taking on VBU here. DZG is leading the series 1-0 for all those new folks joining us. And we do see it engage in the top lane again.
Yeah, and once again, Killer Unicorn kind of getting caught out here with no place to go. No mana as well onto Sejuani, but no CC to be able to lock her down. Glada's here for the counter gank as well. And the teleport coming in from BTG. Level 6 Morgana does have those chains. Locks up the Tahm Kench. Tahm Kench forced to flash away. Does have the eat for if the Tahm Kench wants to eat the Zac. And again, just kind of a trade of teleports and a flash on the side of Evil Gambit. Wave is still really good for the Tahm Kench, but overall, looking good for VBU as well as they're able to kind of get a lot of summoners forced out from the side of DZG.
Yeah, they're able to get those summoners being burned, but looks like there's a little bit of a freeze in the bot lane, and we're going to see an engagement.
Oh, it's Best Plunger here. Might get caught out. Burns the cleanse at an awkward time, and counters is going to be able to pick up that kill easily onto Best Plunger. And once again, this Ashe, who we've been saying is just so ahead early, just gets even more fed.
Maybe a gank in the mid lane from this Thresh. Morgana's a little bit too far forward. We're going to see him walk
the black
forward.
shield though. Morgana kind of in a difficult position. Oh, does get the chains down, but spell immune gets blocked out by the damage. Tai is going to pick up the kill onto the Morgana. Easy kill there. But overall, 1-for-1 trade. I would take that if I was on the side of VBU though, because my Ashe is just infinitely way stronger than you.
Yeah, and possibly Purple here, trying to bring his team back into the game with that roam. Unfortunately, Best Plunger did get caught out like we just saw there on that roam timer, but hopefully this Thresh can continue to make plays, land some hooks, and help DZG get back into the game. But on the contrary, VBU is looking very proactive. It's different from game 1, right? I think their composition allows them to play this proactive style now, so we're seeing them go for a lot more aggressive plays like we just saw in the bot lane there, and we saw with that counter gank in the top lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said, without all 5 champions on the side of VBU, you have the ability to engage. It's looking really strong. Underage strat just snuck under Killer Unicorn's nose and is starting the Rift Herald here. So not bad for the side of VBG. They're trying to make up from that early game deficit and make some plays of their own. Evil Gambit does miss the Abyssal Voyage and some trading. As you see the Sejuani 5-stack, but again, Best Plunger might get caught out again. He's getting bloody blocked by the Lantern. Counters, gets a free auto attack down. Hook goes on to Ghost TP, but once again, Best Plunger kind of caught in no man's land here. The flash W from Ghost TP itself forces the flash out of possibly Purple. Some very heavy trading the bot lane. Flash traded from Killer Unicorns up in the top lane as well. But this bot lane for VBU is really on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah, it's their shining light. Great ward placement coming out onto that Lantern, not allowing Best Plunger to take that Dark Passage to safety. And if you get that ward placement down perfectly, it's almost a guaranteed freak. Ooh, arrow barely
Ooh,
misses
arrow
him.
barely misses, but might hit the Tom Kench. No, it doesn't.
Oh, almost stops the back.
Alchemy purple might get caught out there. No. Yeah, and like I was saying with that ward placement. Oh, Diana jumping in here does get the advanced sweeper. Really great counter gank. GLaDOS flashes in with the moonfall, picks up a kill onto Tai. Really great placement from GLaDOS. Good jungle awareness to be able to spot out where Underage Rat was and really snuff him out.
Yeah, and we're seeing this first dragon, excuse me, first dragon being started up. This should be going over to VBU, and they've got about a 3k gold lead here coming up at this 10-minute mark.
Yeah, really kind of night and day for VBU compared to their first game. As we see, oh, Tom Kench does get the Devour onto the Sejuani. Kill Unicorns does get chunked out here. No flash. Does have the ultimate to try lock up the Tom Kench, but Tom Kench does have that Abyssal Voyage and the shield. Best Plunger trading heavily onto counters here. Gets the 4-shot off. Killer Unicorn's in trouble here. One more passive stack will get the stun. Does he have the tongue to hit him? No, he doesn't. Just short. Just misses him with the lick there, but almost a solo kill onto Killer Unicorns for Evil Gambit.
The battle of the stacks in the top lane here. Both Sejuani and this Tom Kench have these stacks that can CC up the members of the opposition. So it's whoever can get those stacks first and continue to get them as that wet noodle fight goes on will be favored. And in that specific exchange, Evil Gambit was able to get the better of it.
Yeah, the ultimate, the impact from the ultimate there, the one extra tower shot really made a huge difference here. Ghost TP kind of getting some early vision, but GLaDOS here as well. GLaDOS looking very strong. All Zac has is 2 ruby crystals. You know, that's not going to be enough. You know, like,
yeah.
And us, DZG, do have to kind of back off here. This Rift Herald also not being used here is really going to hurt DZG here because, you know, only 3 more minutes until, you know, tower plates are falling off, and so they need to pick a time where they can use it fast.
Yeah, I don't know where they can use it efficiently. Ideally, you want to, look for a pick in the bot lane to get the shutdown off of Ashe, but Ashe already has this mythic completed, and she's super strong, and it looks like they're posturing for a freeze down here, counters a Ghost TP.
Yeah, I mean, Kraken Slayer at like 10 minutes, it's mental. Like, the Ashe is basically just gonna be untouchable, and look at like the champions that she's gonna be auto-attacking. Tom Kench, Zac, Thresh, these are all champions that, like, want to be building health, and so that Kraken Slayer is going to be like a hot knife through butter.
I would really love to see this Ashe go Lord Dominic's regard second. I think it's super huge value here into those 3 champions you mentioned, and it doesn't really affect her too much because she has that Q passive for the attack speed.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be fighting the top lane. Underage Rat does jump in, but misses. Ult goes down from both the Diana and the Sejuani. Passive burned out from the Zac. Any TPs from Tai to kind of save him? No, but the Tom Kench does get the Devour onto Rat.
Solo kill.
Solo kill in the mid lane though. Morgana RBG does pick up the kill onto Tai. Tom Kench, Evil Gambit trying to stay alive for as long as he can. Yeah, fighting. More Ashe Arrow goes down on towards Best Plunger, but the Ashe does pick up the kill onto the Thresh, possibly purple, and Best Plunger walks out with a sliver of health left. Fights kind of everywhere. That could have been a near ace at 12 minutes.
It's VBU everywhere. Every single lane on the map, all fights going their favor. About 100 HP off from that cross-map ace like you mentioned. They're in the driver's seat here. It's their game to lose. We're going to have to see if DZG is going to be able to make some desperation plays and look for some picks with their comp. But the side of VBU, the way their champion kits are is if they're ahead, they can continuously pull the trigger time after time again with Sejuani ult, Ashe ult, with Rel engage, with Diana ult. They could just keep going and going and going, and eventually DZG won't be able to keep up with the pressure that's being thrown at them, and they'll just lose the game off the pressure.
Yeah, and I think, one thing is that, this is also going to be a really good test for DZG to see how they play from behind. The first game, we saw them mostly in the driver's seat. And so with the roles reverse, we're going to see how it's going to go. But if we look at the key thing is honestly this jungle matchup. Underage Rat is down 2 levels, down 50 CS, and only has a Bomby Cinder completed. This Zac is going to be like, is going to look more like the Jello I'm going to have for Snack later instead of an actual champion.
Yeah, I agree. Excuse me, my throat got a little dry there. The itemization coming out, I don't know if DZG is going to be able to get through Sejuani's HP bar and Rel's HP bar, because the Jhin is not really known for getting through HP bars, right? He's known to burst squishy targets and with that 4-shot execute damage. But if there's a lot of armor on a champion, it's really hard for Jhin to get through it. I really need to see him itemize towards some of that armor pen early. But it's hard because like they're significantly behind. But we see a TP.
A TP coming in from onto Tai, looking for the aggressive play, but Hook goes wide, counters with a good dodge. Ash Arrow does get stolen by the Silas. Counter's looking very low here. Shutdown goes onto the Jhin as well. Rel does pick up the counter kill onto the Silas. Underage Rat with the ult jumping onto the Rel, but Glada is here as well. Huge moonfall onto 3 people. Teleport coming in from Evil Gambit, but Glada picks up the kill as well. Flashed in, gets up the triple kill for the Diana. Killer Unicorns cancels the teleport on the side of Evil Gambit as well. It is looking like VBU to the moon right now.
Yeah. Beautiful engage coming out from Glada there. Showing the champion mastery there, waiting for that perfect moment to get that 3-man moonfall like you mentioned, gets that amplified damage due to the additional members on that ultimate, and is able to pick up those 3 kills there, and the dragon, and Herald being started up by the top laner as well. It's VBU's map, they can take whatever they want right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that Spider-Man meme. Everywhere I go, all I see is his face. But in this case, it's VBU. Yeah, Diana's just huge now. Proto Belt, 9 stacks on the Dark Seal. 3 levels up in the jungle matchup now, which is crazy. It's really just, yeah, it's Glada's playground here, and DZG is his toy right now.
Yeah, and we expected this after that disastrous level 1 play for the side of DZG. Underage Rat was significantly down. We see the arrow land.
The arrow does land. Is stun locked onto counters for quite a while. No flash as well, but Thresh wasn't there in time to be able to get the hook on.
Yeah. And that was the arrow from Silas that he had just stolen from that previous engage. They were able to get the shutdown off the Ashe there, the side of DZG. So a little bit of a glimmer from that last team fight for themselves. But
Ashe arrow going down onto the Thresh, kind of just to say, hey, I can. And they can get the first tower down the bot lane, 16 minutes. If we can look at the gold lead here, I'm sure counters is going to be a few thousand ahead of Best Plunger here.
Yeah,
yeah.
We do see that. 2,000.
2,000 gold basically on the dot, as you see Glada looking for Evil Gambit here. The Tom Kench, no flash, no W, kind of looking like a catfish in trouble. But Underage Rat is here for the follow-up. Glada with the moonfall going down. Evil Gambit doesn't use the thick health, and it looks like just another pick onto the top laner.
Yeah, it looked like Evil Gambit was getting a pick, but then Glada shows up. They drop the Herald. This tower should be theirs. This should push the gold lead close to that 10k mark here at 17 minutes. And
wow, they get the first tower without the Rift goes on. Mid tower is extremely low as well. This is just everything is pointing for VBU right now.
Yeah, and at what point do you, as DCG, start to think about Game 3 here? It's really hard to come back into this game with the composition you have in the lead.
However, Underage Rat does get the engaged on. Shutdown going towards the Jhin. Huge onto that. Double kill going towards the Jhin. This Jhin is also looking to try to redeem his way back in, but on this other side, VBU are looking to get plays across the map as well, but possibly Purple is waiting in the mist. Possibly Purple gets the Lantern in, but Rel with the engaged Ghost TP comes up short. Hook goes down onto the Rel. Best Hunter looking like in a world of hurt here, but good Rel will be able to lock up all 4 people on the side of DZG. Ghost TP looking to try kill off this low health Thresh. Does get the kill, but on a killing spree here, but Shutdown looking like it's going to go over towards Best Plunger here. Oh, misses the Q, misses the auto, but does get the W down. Oh, but it looks like BTG's in trouble as well. Low mana, no health, force to flash away. Evil Gambit used the flash as well. The Abyssal Voyage is going to come down. Hung Lash picks up the kill onto the Morgana.
Yeah, and as I say, it's going to be hard for them to win fights. They pick up 5 kills. That's what they got, every single member there. Yeah, they pick up 5 kills and claim all those shutdowns and just cut this goal lead by 2k instantly. And now there's going to be a huge influx of gold going into some of these carries on the side of DZG.
Yeah, and like the crucial thing as well is that the shutdown gold went to the key targets. Best Plunger picked up the kill onto the Sejuani, the Diana, and the Rel there. So that's 3 huge kills going onto the side of the Jhin, who, even after abysmal early game, especially with that 3-0 Ashe, is really starting to turn the tides back towards his favor. Great play from DZG, but VBU also getting kind of greedy there.
And I don't like the collector itemization coming out from the Jhin. You have these HP bars to get through. Nobody else on your team is going to get through them. You need to be the person building this tank shred, whether it's the LDR or something else. The collector's just not going to cut it here for the armor and HP bars that are being built up for the side of VBU.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a concern. Once that Sejuani picks up the Warmogs, how is she gonna be able to, kind of, like, how is she gonna be able to fall down? Like, there's no consistent damage from the side of DZG, and the more that the scaling goes on, the tankier that Sejuani and Rel are gonna get. So definitely, Jin going for Collector is a bit weird. Would have liked to see a Lord Domix, like you said, but maybe he knows something we don't.
Maybe he knows something that nobody knows, because everybody would. I think that you should be going LDR here, but nonetheless, we don't need to harp on it too much. He's still going to be able to, use that collector to burst down the Ashe, the Morgana at the very least. It's just getting through these. Oh, Binding lands into arrow.
The Thresh does get caught out, but the Bind, possibly purple, very, very, very caught here. Loads of ultimates used by the Ashe to pick up the kill here. Gets the pick onto the Thresh, and looks like the Dragon's going to go towards the side of VBU here. So, even after that delayed ace and a bit of a mishap, they are still 8,000 gold ahead. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
But counter isn't forced to flash. It could be in trouble. Ashe ult stolen, goes wide. Hughes gets wide as well. Tai trying to get in, get the Conquer, get the W, and take the heal back. Blue team save the Dragon. Good engage from Ghost TP here. Underage out, forced to do nothing but jump out. Pistol Voice from this Evil Gambit also to escape, but Killer Unicorns is on the hunt. Picks up the free kill onto the Zac there. Underage out, recalling. That's not your jungle, buddy. That's VBU's now.
Yeah. And we see these towers being picked up. Their own soul point here. And VBU. Oh, we see a aggressive play coming out from Glada going straight into the base.
Yeah, Glada does have that move off here, but does get hooked here. Move off Black Shield going down, gets a kill onto possibly Purple. Counters is trying to auto away with that Kraken Slayer. Evil Gambit's not too long for this world as well. And the Jhin gets picked off as well by Glada with that extra jump over.
Yeah, and this is going to be mid inhib going down, and potentially Baron. Yeah, they're going to take this mid inhib, look for a reset here potentially. And as this reset comes out, they're going to posture for Baron, and and look to close out this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks to our helpful friend Slogan Low in chat, Collector could be fine. He did mention that it becomes higher value with the more HP, because percentages. So the more HP Sejuani has, that execute threshold could increase. That's a very good point.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're building your item at this late in the game and you see that the enemy team already has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 armor items, it's worth building the LDR, and LDR does more against HP as well. But nonetheless, itemization either way can work. But I think it's just he said, she said, doesn't really make a difference. It has to. It all comes down to execution, right? DZG needs to make sure they're executing these fights properly. If they're not, then VBU
are looking to execute this Baron here. And it looks like there's not going to be a response. Underage Rat is way too far away, and Killer Unicorns, Sejuani's demanding presence is going to be able to zone them as they take this Baron for free. And we're going to see this gold lead going to go to 14,000 here for the side of VBU.
Yeah, 14,000, and it's hard to, like, when you have such a significant gold lead like VBU does, you can start to play sloppy, right? They can afford to, be a little bit loose in their gameplay, because they're just gonna flex their wallets per se on them, like this, right? If you're even in gold, you're not gonna go for something like this.
Yeah, Evil Gambit underage Rat jumping in, but the Moonfall coming in from Glada, jumping in off the backline. Time for stopwatch away, best puncher in that backline, being able to free hit. Evil Gambit facing a sliver of health, but counters, does pick up the kill onto the Silas. Sejuani does pick up the kill onto the Zac. Evil Gambit gets away with Abyssal Voice, which is a sliver of health. Best puncher forced to kind of do nothing, but watches his base fall in tatters. And it looks like we're going to be going to game 3, ladies and gentlemen. VBU pick up the pace from minute 1, and are making a statement against DZG that they will not go down easily.
Yeah, they're going to pick up these 2 towers, the last 2 towers, pick up the Nexus here, claim this game 2 victory. And like you said, from level 1 here, with that that 2v3 play with the 3 kills being given over to the side of VBU. VBU took control of the game, and a lot of the pressure, I want to say, the jungle pressure that we saw stemmed from that play.
Yeah, absolutely. As as we're gonna be preparing for Game 3, we'll be right back. Thank you for staying with us. This is the Aegis Guardians League, and we'll talk to you soon in a second. Alright, and welcome back to our coverage of Aegis Guardians League Week 1. Once again, I'm Jason5. I'm joined by Arvar as we're going to be going into Game 3's draft of DZT versus VBU.
Yeah, sides have switched again. Draft is starting up here. I'm super excited to see how this goes. I want to see if VBU is able to play like they did in Game 2 without the early lead that they were able to get from that invade. So let's see how these compositions shake out. I'm expecting some similar bans from Game 2 to come over to Game 3 here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's again, Kaisa standard ban that they had from the first game when they were on blue side. Doesn't look like anything's changed there. As what do you think the players are thinking now that they're kind of going into Game 3, especially in the first game of the week or the split as well?
That's a good question. I used to play as well. So usually when Game 3s come, it's like I want to be on my most comfortable pick, so I can have the most impact possible. But at the same time, it's like, I know these teams have coaches drafting for them, and the coaches want to make sure their compositions are cohesive. So it's a give and take from both sides. So we'll see how the coaches are able to bring in player comfort and composition cohesion while they're drafting in Game 3 here.
Yeah, so it looks like it's pretty standard bans from DZT and VBU far. Nothing has changed in these first 4 bans. Still Kaisa Ziggs, and still Seraphine Nocturne after that game 1, and Viego as well. All looking pretty standard. We haven't been able to see Viego on stream yet, which is a bit of a shame, but that leaves definitely room for other picks. I'm surprised Gwen hasn't been picked up as well, honestly.
Yeah, we saw a lot of prio on Gwen in our invitational, our uncapped invitational earlier, towards the end of last month, excuse me. We saw Gwen almost picked or banned the entire tournament, but not picked thus far in Aegis Guardians League on stream, at least. I don't know about the other games, but Karma's up, Ezreal's up, Xin Zhao's up. A lot of good B1 picks available.
Diana's up as well if they want to take it away, but it looks like DZT are going to opt for the Ezreal first pick. It's a very solid AD carry choice, and definitely has a lot of pairings in terms of other champions that synergize well with it.
Yeah, I think if you're a VBU, Diana looked really good last game. I would pick the Diana here, but it's a little bit harder to play into the Ezreal. But they're opting for the Rel lock-in here. They know where what ADC it'll be playing into, so they feel comfortable locking in that. And the Ashe being hovered, and the Ashe is locked in.
Yeah, I mean, Counter's Counter's played like a monster in that game. Being able to pick up those 3 kills early on, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing, that Counter's on this Ashe pick again. Hopefully, DZT don't make the same mistake and kind of go for that really, really unfortunate level 1 invade. But I still think that the Ashe pick was very good, especially with, the agency that he had in being able to kind of shoot out the Ashe ults, as well as synergizing with the rest of the team in terms of how they wanted to generate picks.
Yeah, the Thresh looked good last game. They were behind, so I do like the Thresh pick coming out here for DZG. Let's see what they decide to pick up here on B3.
Yeah. Now, I think definitely if Diana doesn't go through this round, they'll definitely see Lee Sin locked in. Very interesting. Lee Sin, whose lane ability did get slightly nerfed, but again, is still a very strong champion right now.
Yeah, it can go into either of the 3 spots remaining, jungle, top, or mid here. Like you said, it did get cut down a little bit in laning with the E cooldown being increased. But nonetheless, I still think it's a strong pick, especially with the Gore Drinker still being available and Sterak's being available. So not really showing too much the side of DGG and the Sejuani hover and lock in. They VBU picking the Sejuani, and we don't know if that's going top or jungle. It was top last game.
Yeah, and I will say, there was a good performance in top lane there for that Sejuani. So I will say it did pretty well, but by letting Diana not be picked this early on, it's definitely it should be on the minds of DCT that we need to ban that champion because she kind of just ruined us there in the early stages of that game.
Hmm. So
You see the
yeah,
Trundle being banned out, which is a great ban because Trundle directly counters Sejuani with that ultimate ability.
Gnar taken away again. We're not seeing the Diana takeaway just yet.
Yeah, and another thing is, maybe they don't think the Sejuani is going top, and it's probably just a jungle pick. So, oh, Veigar ban again. So once again, pretty standard. We don't get to see the Veigar for the side of DZT. On the other end, really interesting to see what the last ban for DCT is going to be. Is it going to be the Diana, or are they okay with kind of letting it through?
Let's see. It's the Diana ban.
Diana does get banned out here, so DCT learning from the kind of jungle thrashing that they had there, and really forcing Vlad to kind of divert to a different pick and kind of show us that jungle pool as well.
Yeah. While we're waiting for this last pick, I want to say huge thanks to Dreadzone Gaming for the raid and the Fierce Force for the raid. We got a lot of raiders today. I think this is 3-4 raids coming in on the night, so thank you guys. And we see that Morgana locked in just like we saw in game 2 for VBU.
Yeah, so it looks like they're saving this kind of top jungle flex counter pick for they're saving a top jungle flex counter pick. And I think that's really smart. The Morgana really worked wonders in that mid lane because she was able to generate so much priority and just keep the opposing mid laner just kind of stuck in there, not really allow them to move. So it's definitely really good strategy from VBU in terms of what lanes that they want to restrict and who they want to enable. And it's going to be down to DZT to see how they respond to that. You see a set picked up here, so it could be top, or it could be mid as well.
I like the set pick. The rel has to jump into your team. The second just throw her right back. Nice for team fights if it's positioned properly. So good theory drafting coming out from DCG here. But let's see what they pick up here. If they're going to put this Lee Sin jungle or top. Or mid here. We'll find out in this last pick.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like it's going to be an Orianna locked in. So it's going to be set top, Lee Sin jungle, and Orianna in the mid lane. Definitely a very some more traditional picks going on here, and definitely picks that when you think of that position, the roles kind of belong there. So let's see how VBU responds now that they know it's going to be Lee Sin jungle.
I wonder if they go with like an Irelia or something, put the Sejuani jungle and take the Sej Irelia. We just saw Irelia shot up in popularity recently with
Sejuani Irelia, such a powerful combination, definitely.
We see the Mordekaiser.
It looks like it's being Mordekaiser locked in here.
Still don't know. That could be Mordekaiser jungle. We've seen some of it.
Absolutely, and I think
cool.
when we come to the conclusion of draft here, I think both teams have very, very solid drafts. Like, on the side of VBU, we have 4 champions that have the ability to kind of start fights and get things started. And on the side of DZT, they definitely want to play prolonged fights. Wait for a good set angle. And, if he's going the mathematically correct set build, you just do 1,700 true damage and instantly just kill the enemy as well. So I think it's really going to be dependent on how these teams play out the fights mechanically, how they pace the game, and also in the jungle pathing.
Yeah, so we're into client draft now, so we're going to be able to see where these champions are slotting out. I don't think we're wrong on the side in terms of DZG's comp. I don't think it's going to be set jungle. We haven't seen that in about, I want to say, a season now. We did see a little bit on release, but not since. But on the side of Valor Bulls, they have a lot of flexibility in their composition.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's going to be really interesting to kind of, I think a lot of the strategy will also change based on where these picks are going. Like, the Morgana could also still technically be a jungle pick as well. And then you send Mordekaiser mid or something like that. VBU do look like they tend to be quite flexible with their drafts and where their champions are going. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this kind of plays out.
Just going through these bands, waiting out to see where this is going. I really want to know if it's Sejuani top or if we're seeing. Actually, it was Sejuani, and who was the jungle one more time for the side of
It
Valor
was
Bulls?
either
Or
for Valor Bulls, it was Lisa.
Mordekaiser. Valor
Yeah.
Bulls was Sejuani Mordekaiser that was picked, right? I want to know if it's more top or Sedge top. I'm gonna put my bets on more top here.
Yeah, I think unless your name is Ridley Prime, like you'd want Mordekaiser. You'd want Mordekaiser probably in where it belongs. Like if you're Ridley, you probably could play jungle Mordekaiser and make it work.
Hmm. I think we've actually seen some jungle Mordekaisers being picked throughout the last split we had, but nonetheless, nothing too crazy. And that, yeah, like we see here,
Yeah, confirms it.
Mordekaiser top and Sejuani jungle.
Now, one thing that's actually going to be really interesting, in my opinion, I think, is going to be the bot lane matchup. You know, it's going to be what, Ezreal Thresh against Ashe Rel, and
Yep.
so it's a matchup that's really curious for me because Thresh typically, is really good at keeping the AD carry alive, but Ezreal already is kind of innately built in to be able to stay alive as well. So I'm really curious as towards what do you think about the bot lane matchup here, Ivar?
I think it's Ashe Rel favored because Ezreal has the agency to get out himself. If Thresh gets caught out with any of that engage and does not have that flash available, he will just be CC'd and slowed, and is not going to be able to get out of the engage and get DPS down. On the contrary, if the Thresh is able to, use that flay properly to block the engage coming out from the Rel, then it's going to be favored towards Valor Bulls. So it really, towards DZG. It really depends on how the Thresh is playing the 2v2s.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just another thing as well is going to be itemization is going to be really important. There's a lot of healing on the side of Valor Wolves. You know, you have the Mordekaiser, you have the Morgana, and like these are champions that are really good with sustain. And so, to kind of generate these micro advantages, I'd like to see some heal reduction early on for the side of DZG, especially because, their champions are supposed to be good at controlling situations. Like Orianna, when you think about control mage, Orianna is the staple pick. And so definitely like that's something I'd like to see.
We're also seeing the next patch, not right now, but next patch, Orianna and Syndra are getting that little bit of a mage buff. So we're going to start to see a lot more of them being picked up with this next patch coming out next week. So a lot less of these melee assassins we've been seeing recently. So it's good to see the Orianna picked now. It really brings DZG's comp together. I think having that AoE control mage utility type of champion in the mid lane helps bring the pieces together from across DZG's comp.
Yeah, absolutely. But another thing is that, Mordekaiser's ultimates, like, it just makes it's no longer a 5v5. And so another thing that I'm going to be really looking out towards is how Killer Unicorns uses that Mordekaiser ult. Because if he ults the set, then DZG are going to have a really difficult time, kind of finding a fight. Unless Underage Rat is going to, transform into Insect and, perform miracle cakes, it's going to be really difficult for them to find a perfect fight angle.
Yeah, I agree. I think Set is the person he should be going for, barring if he wants to pick up some free kills, he can go for other people. But to help his team win the fight outside of the Death Realm, there, taking the Set is most optimal.
Yeah, and as we have 2 minutes until we're gonna be into game. We're gonna head into Spectre delay, and we'll be right back.
Yep.
And welcome back to Game 3 of DZG versus VBU. We apologize that we had to load into game 6 minutes due to some spectating issues. We've had to kind of load in a bit late as we kind of look at the map state here. And, well, how's the map looking for you, Ivar?
Looks like it's 2-2 in kills. First Dragon being picked up by DCG here. Once again, we apologize. It did not let us load in initially, so we had to load in through alternate procedures, which loaded us in at 6:18, not allowing us to rewind. That's all right. We'll get through it. Looks like it's a 2-0 Ezreal, which is pretty big for the side of DZG.
Yeah, seems like Underage Rat will manage to get some good ganks off in the bot lane and just pick up some picks onto counters, and Glada, who is maybe the counter jungle or something. And then on the other end, there was a gank towards the top lane, and that also resulted in a kill for the side of VBU as well. So looking pretty good. Gold is only around 500 gold difference in the favor of VBU, but DZG do have that first Cloud Dragon, which will be pretty important for them.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing is those kills are on Ezreal. We know how oppressive Ezreal is if he's able to get his items earlier in the game. He already has that tier stacking, he has that sheen. Oh, we see the ultimate in the top lane.
Yeah, so you see some heavy trading going down here. Evil Gambit does have the ultimate as well. Misses the Q from the side of Killer Unicorn, so it looks like they're just gonna head out unscathed. Evil Gambit just gonna take some health down as a little bit of a trade. But overall, the map state actually seems relatively quiet. Both teams look like they're just content with farming.
Yeah, we see Thresh Realm up here to the mid lane. Junglers both are pathing towards top again. That means they started bot lane initially. So everything seems pretty standard. Maybe a little bit of a fight over this ward here brewing.
Yeah, Underage Rat does go in onto the Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser has no ult here as well. Ult going down from the set. Killer Unicorn's kind of in trouble here. Looking very low. About to die here. Getting picked off. Underage Rat does pick up the kill onto the Mordekaiser. Looks like the Rift Herald's going to be converted to DZG.
Yeah, they're going to take this. And this is the difference between last game and this game. The Thresh is able to roam for DCG because they have an Ezreal. They don't have to worry about Ezreal getting punished. He can be safe in the bot lane under his tower, and he's able to roam like we see here. But we see TP coming out from Mordekaiser here.
Yeah, but Rel is only level 5. Glada doesn't have ultimate as well. It's looking like an awkward fight for VBU. Underage Rat does go in, gets the kick off onto Ghost TP, chunks him out, but Underage Rat very low as well. Killer Unicorn's looking to try to do some damage. Full stack Mordekaiser, level 7. Ezreal comes down, picks up Ghost TP all the way from the bottom lane. Best Plunger really looking like he's gonna do some cleaning up here. Yeah, but Ty's here as well. Does have a worry on a Shockwave. Glada is looking very low on health, in trouble, forced to use a smite early. Evil Gambit running straight towards the Sejuani here. Sejuani might be in trouble, but flash forward out from the Orianna. Thresh Lantern picking up Evil Gambit. Shockwave only going out onto Mordekaiser. Everyone is still alive. Glada does get picked up by the punch from Evil Gambit, looking to try to do as much damage as he can. BTG also in trouble here, forced to flash away, double kill going towards the set. Underage Rat comes in as well with the Warthog, picks up the kill onto Killer Unicorns, and it's a 3-0, and the Rift Herald for the side of DZG.
Tragic for the side of VBU. Everything goes in favor of DCG there. Bot lane ADCs are just farming here. Ezreal knows that his team is winning the other side of the map, so as long as he doesn't die, he should be safe. They're gonna go top here and just drop this Rift Herald if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, and we have like 3 major shutdowns on 3 really important champions for the side of DZG here. But Ghost TP flashes in, goes to engage. Ezreal E out, Best Plunger looking to try escape. Does have to flash away, flashes away from that E by the Rel, and it looks like Best Plunger is going to be able to escape on the Scathe. Really good just defensive awareness to make sure not to get picked off while his team's on the other side of the map.
Great presence of mind coming out from Best Plunger here to, use the flash to dodge the stun coming out from Ghost TP, keeping himself safe. He's going down a little bit in CS, almost 30 CS discrepancy now, but he does have those 3 kills, so he should be okay in the gold department.
Yeah, and another thing is, if you look at the set, he already has his Gore Drinker completed, but VBU do pick up the dragon from that bottom lane priority, so I think it's kind of a tale of a split map here, as we see potential dive coming down onto the bot lane. Best Puncher picks up the Lantern at perfect timing, ease away as well, hooking onto Glada, but looks like it's just being disengaged now. Again, great defensive play from DZG, really well played from Possibly Purple as well, using the flash to make sure that he gets the Best Plunger in time to keep that 3-0 Ezreal alive.
Yeah. I think once Ezreal gets this Sunderer, he's going to be able to, really be outputting a lot of damage onto this Rel as she steps forward. Also, we see the double Gore Drinker being completed for the top side of DCG. So they're all coming up close to their mythics here, while the side of VBU are not close at all.
Yeah, they're only at their half item points. And Evil Gambit going for a big trade onto the Mordekaiser here. Mordekaiser does have that W to block out the damage, but Evil Gambit does have that W ready. Punch going down onto Killer Unicorns, a sliver of health. E goes completely wide. Killer Unicorns trying to pull some distance, running away from the set. Killer Unicorns kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place here, because the set can just keep chasing him down, but it looks like he's going to escape from him for now. Really showing off the potential of that true damage W and just how much damage it can do onto Killer Unicorns.
Yeah, super close. Killer Unicorn's able to get out from the skin of his teeth, and Evil Gambit looking for it still, but he can't go for it now that Sejuani's on the top side of the map there.
Yeah, and again, we're kind of moving back into a kind of farm state. So, and with like game threes, a lot of the time, teams choosing just to play a bit more safer, just because it's kind of a do or die game. And so, there's definitely it's not as bloodthirsty as the earlier two games. It's underage right here, looking just for some vision, not really going for any kills, as Dragon's gonna be up in 3 minutes. So just clearing out some peripheral vision and probably going back to farming.
Yeah. Just clearing up the vision, getting some deep vision as well. Maybe they're going to look to deny this blue buff. Decide DCG is looking for it. They drop another ward. Um,
Yeah, Morgana's on a base right now. They could look for this play, but Glada kiting the blue buff into the bush, just making sure that, it's really difficult for them to find the go trigger. But Thresh and Lee Sin are moving down to this bot side. Counters is slightly far up ahead. Thresh is going to look for the flay here. Ashe does have flash, however. Forced to use it very early. Burn that summon. But Ashe Hour comes down onto the Thresh. Two-man knockup from Ghost TP. Underage Jet does get the Sonic Wave onto the Keep, onto the Ashe. Hook, good hook coming in. But Underage Jet is get controlled by the Sejuani. All best plunger looking kind of far forward without a summoner or a lance.
Shockwave.
But great shockwave to go for the disengage. Ghost TP does get tagged up by the Solid. Resonating Strike picks up the kill on towards the Rel from the Lee Sin. 3-1 and 3 now on Underage for Underage Rat.
What a beautiful shockwave coming out from TY3. I'm just going to call him Ty. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. He waited, great patience for the shockwave there, waits for the group up and lands that beautiful 4-man shockwave, being able to, win that fight for DCG.
Yeah, and I think just how the shockwave was positioned is all really good because it just helped the entire team disengage. That Rel engage was looking very potent at that point, and well, really good awareness from Ty just to make sure that he kind of pulls that distance and makes sure that huge chunk of damage goes down, resulting in those picks.
Yeah, and if he's able to get some more of those later in the game when there's some damage behind it, that's going to be horrible for the side of EBU. Because right now, Oriana doesn't really do too much damage early. A lot of utility, CC, slows, shields. But when she has 2-3 items under her, that shockwave and those command dissonances are going to do a lot of damage. So they need to be careful and need to respect the position of Oriana's ball during these team fights.
Yeah, and you see the gold leads for each respective lane is starting to kind of pull away now. You see Underage Rat, about to finish his boots as well, but Glada only has the Vami Cinder and Cloth Armor, and his top lane as well. Killer Unicorns is still 1,000 gold off from his Riftmaker, and Set probably sitting on some gold looking for a recall now as well. So, and bot lane as well. Item discrepancies are kind of all over the place, and it's looking similar to a repeat like Game 1.
Yeah. Item discrepancies, gold lead. The comp is a little bit harder to play than Game 1. They had a lot of straightforward Ashe ults into Nocturne Engage coming out for DCG in Game 1. But here they have to be a little bit more methodical and need to position correctly.
Possibly Purple might get caught out here. Forced to use the flash. Ashe Hour comes down, but the TP coming in from the Set does have the ultimate, so is going to be able to impact, but they choose to disengage. 18 seconds to the Dragon, probably saving cooldowns. Teleport coming in from the Morgana towards that bottom river. Ty is sitting in the bush waiting for Killer Unicorns though. Killer Unicorns already kind of chunked out before the fight's even started. So, as a frontline member, looking kind of dangerous. See DCG moving up towards the river now, looking to try kind of push their way forward. Evil Gambit really frontlining here and able to as a set as well as looking for the ultimate here. Goes down onto the Mordekaiser. Glada on the front line, trying to do as much damage. Rel with good peel as well, possibly Purple looking kind of low. Evil Gambit picks up the kill onto the Mordekaiser. Underage Rat trying to kite it away as well. Evil Gambit picks up the lantern from possibly Purple. Huge shockwave, 3-man onto the back line. Underage Rat gets to the Sonic Wave and the kick, flash, picks up the kill onto BDG, and it's looking like an ace for DCG.
Yeah, that's going to be an ace and the Dragon. Double kill coming out for the Lee Sin, picking up that ace at the end. And another huge shockwave coming out from Ty there at the end of that team fight. 3-man shockwave to kind of sign, seal, and deliver that team fight win for DCG. And they pick up their second Dragon, and they're immediately going towards this Herald on the top side of the map.
Yeah, it was really great patience from the Oriana as well, holding on to such key cooldown for such a long time. Like, you'd think the fight would be over by the time, the Rel is dying or the Thresh is looking really low, but Ty really held on to that cooldown and waited till they were clumped up for the perfect moment to kind of find that huge shockwave, and that as a result they get the ace, and the shutdowns just keep growing for the side of DCG.
Yeah, it looks like very reminiscent to Game 1, where Ty was having those really huge Seraphine ults in the team fights. Same impact here with the Oriana.
Yeah, absolutely, and now you see completed items and components starting to come in for DCG. Some of I'm really curious to see Evil Gambit on reset. He hasn't recalled yet. I'm expecting to see maybe just half a whole item straight up, and yeah, looking Phage and Pickaxe, 1,900 gold just to spend down the drain. Huge buy for him.
Yeah, going to be going towards that Sterix, it looks like. I think Lee Sin has sitting on a lot of gold too. Yeah, he's sitting on 1,200. Ezreal as well, 1,300. They're just trying to push their advantage here right now as the side of VBU are not coordinated. They do have their Herald to drop here potentially for this mid lane tower.
Yeah, they do. They might potentially want to look at this tower here, but, you know, wave clear and the tankiness off the side of VBU is pretty good. So it looks like the Rift Herald's just going to be able to get a charge, but it's not going to be able to take down the tower just yet.
Get a charge? They kill it.
Wow. Great smite from Glada to cancel the charge. So kind of 25 free gold that gets into their pockets.
Yeah, and a lot of time and resources put in from DZG for that Herald just gone down the drain. They don't get anything for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, it's going to be, yeah, I think back then where we're going to move back towards a kind of farm state now and kind of just see each team set up vision and just try to establish themselves, scale for some resources. I know on the side of VBU, they definitely want to hit their first item spikes before they look for a fight.
I think the big thing for VBU here is they have very good pick potential with the Asher, Morgana, Binding, Sejuani ult. They should be able to, you know, use vision control to pick off some of the members of DZG and claim some of these shutdowns. They just need to execute it properly.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, you know, right now, like I think if my main priority, as the pick goes onto the Thresh here, possibly purple getting picked off by counters, walking into vision there. But yeah, like I was saying, I think if I'm on the I think one thing is that for the side of VBU, another thing is, you know, not just getting these picks, but getting it onto the priority targets as well. I definitely would be looking to, you know, see if I can pick off Ezreal. You know, he only has his E, he doesn't have QSS or anything like that. So you throw a couple ultimates his way, and he's basically just gone. So definitely picking up these huge shutdowns would be a very big priority if I'm VBU right now.
I think getting these shutdowns will help their gold influx, obviously, help them hit these item thresholds they need. One thing I do see here is that the Ashe has gone shield bow, so she's going to be pretty safe in terms of dying, but not doing as much damage as she can be. That's the trade-off you take from taking the shield bow there.
Yeah, absolutely. Like one thing is definitely like the damage potential is going to be much lower, and I think that's one thing to keep in mind of. But you do have these kind of percentage burn champions with Mortifizer and Morgana who can really make up for that lack of damage as well in a way.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ashe is going towards some sort of utility build here, only kind of being there for her slows and her ultimate. She's not going to be able to do DPS some of these beefier members of DCG down without that Kraken Slayer.
Yeah, goes TP, looking to try jump onto Evil Gambit here, but that is a level 12 set, D1 and 5, looking very big there. I don't know if that's the right move as well. And I think the reason why DZG's comp is working out well as well is also because just the champions that need to get ahead are looking really strong. The Lee Sin's 5-1, the set is 3-1, they're both enormously ahead of the counterparts.
Like you mentioned, just looking at the top side of the map, top jungle, it's significantly favored towards DZG, and they should continue to play towards it, because if they continue to snowball with those champions, they should be able to win a lot of these dragon fights. Well, Arrow comes out.
Going down onto possibly purple again, flash away. Glada trying to pick up some damage onto the Ezreal, but they're just too slippery. A flash from the set, from the Thresh, really good, but 10 seconds until dragon, and it looks like VB are getting a lot of good damage out. You know, possibly purple is chunked out quite well. And there's another binding is going to connect onto him, so he's half health going into this dragon fight. But Evil Gambit really smashing in this top lane right here, so it's gonna look like it's looking like it'll be a 44 for this dragon.
Yeah, I think the side of DCG should just opt to give this dragon, maybe look for a steal and look for this mid lane tower, and that's what we see. We see them positioning. Ezreal ult comes out looking for the steal, but nothing comes out. But this mid tower should be theirs.
Yeah, underage rat just getting away from that volley there. Some heavy trading on the top side as well. Evil Gambit really trying to just sustain up the set as everyone's passing towards this top side towards that set, but Sejuani's going in. Stun lands onto the Lee Sin, but the tenacity. 2-man shockwave going down. Underage rat is in to their kick, gets the 2-man onto the Rel as well. Glada taking down from the Ignite. Q goes on to Ghost TP. Set ult coming in from the side. BDG in trouble here. Evil Gambit has the full combo. looks like it's going to be a 3-for-1 for now from the side of DZG. Underage Rat misses the Q, and that's going to be all for the play now. As they could be posturing for Baron here.
Yeah, because Evil Gambit had that prio in the top lane, he's the first to rotate, and he's the first to make the impact in that 4v4 fight. He comes in, lands that beautiful ultimate to pick up, using that splash damage to pick up that kill into the Sejuani, and is able to, you know, win that team fight for DCG and help them posture towards this Baron. Arrow comes out.
Ooh, Arrow comes out. Tai is stunned for quite a while, but it looks like it's actually kind of dangerous. Mordekaiser does has ult. If he picks a good target here, he can actually get some kills here. Looks like he's ulted the Lee Sin, but Underage Rat picks up the kill, dominating on the map. Now 6-1 and 7. Mordekaiser just got chunked out way too much before he could press the R button. Possibly Purple looking on the flank, potentially looking at quick counters. No.
Yeah, and they make the call to peel off that Baron. Don't want to potentially throw any advantage they have right now. They look to peel off, pick up that the scuttle, excuse me, and just take the kills that they've earned from that little skirmish.
Yeah, and like, you know, still looking very much in favor for the side of DZG here. You know, their core champions are still super strong, and you know, even though it's nice that VBU get to pick off possibly Purple on the Thresh every once in a while, it's not enough to kind of propel them back into the game. It's 23 minutes and a 7,000 gold lead is very significant, so it's going to take more from VBU.
And not only is it like good, it's good that they're getting some picks. It's just not onto the people that have these shutdowns. They need to be able to grab these bounties to help the influx of gold. Picking off the Thresh, you're not getting that bonus bounty gold that is available on the map. There's 400 gold on Ezreal, 650 on Lee Sin, 650 on Set. There's a lot of gold that you can claim if you're able to use your utility and CC abilities onto one of those champions. But they keep going for this Thresh, which is the, you know, guaranteed 300 gold. But sometimes you just gotta roll the dice and go for one of the Fed members on the side of DTG.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one really good thing that DZG are doing is that their side laning and their side lane assignments are very good. You know, they're making sure that they're making the rotations and maximizing the gold value they can get from side lanes as well. Whereas from the side of VBU, they've been trying to group them to get picks, but even though they get the Thresh, they still bleed out gold in terms of their side laners and their impact to affect the whole map.
Yeah. I don't want to say they're getting suffocated out of gold, because they're not. They're still, the gold lead hasn't grown too significantly. It's been at that 6k, 7k mark for the last 4 or 5 minutes. Oh, maybe a pick
goes down onto Tai, but stopwatch from Tai does buy a lot of time. Underage Rat is here. No ult on the Mordekaiser, no flash as well. He's looking in a world of trouble here. Possibly Purple will miss the hook. Two-man pull going down on, but the box is down as well. Lee Sin should be able to pick up the kill. Tai picks it up as well. Kill onto killer unicorns. Well, he's 1 in 5 at this point. It feels a bit greedy for him to be going for this play, but on the other hand, VBU have been able to push the mid tower and get priority in that lane as well. But TP in from Evil Gambit. He does have the ultimate, looking like there's potentially some trouble here, but the volley does deter him. Counters could be in trouble here. Q lands, but the E from Rel misses. Flay coming back from the Thresh. Rel ultimate does buy a lot of time, but Evil Gambit is here. Set ult, suplex is short. Suplex is go TP straight into the team of DZG, and now it looks like it's going to be a Baron take for them.
Yeah, this Baron is theirs to take. Great positioning coming out in the team fights there from DZG, chasing down the members of VBU, picking up those 2 kills. Baron will be theirs here. I also want to point out, you know, I believe on back, Orianna should have enough for that Sonya's Hourglass, which should keep her safe from Mordekaiser's ult moving forward. Yeah, sitting on that 1,500 gold, so she should have it after this Baron. Maybe a potential steal coming out.
Glada could steal it here. It's going to be a Smite Trick. Red team is stolen. Baron Nashor. Will he get out? No, it looks like they're going to pick the kill onto Glada. But wow, huge steal coming in from the side of VBU. That's going to buy a lot of time for them. Not to mention all other 4 members have the Baron buff as well.
Worth 100% giving your life there to stall out the game with this Baron buff.
Yeah, Underage Rat does look for the resonating strike there. Rel engaged going down. Ash Hour lands onto wards. Best plunger to Taya, sorry, and taking a lot of damage. Top Rush does pack 3 of them. Look at how tanky the side of VBU are. They're just doing a huge set fist. Underage Rat trying to buy some time to heal. It looks like Evil Gambit is going to be a perfect kill onto the Morgana, but Shutdown goes towards the Mordekaiser. This Mordekaiser, who's having trouble in the early game, does get the redemption kill, but Best Plunger pulled in by the Mordekaiser. No, it looks like that's going to be the end of the play for now.
I don't want to be the person to say it, but the reason why VBU lost that fight is there's no DPS throughout the fight. The shield bow just doesn't do enough damage. If Ashe has crack in there, that fight's a clean wipe.
Yeah,
She has so much time to free auto. It's just she's not doing any damage on these autos. It's just slowing the members. I think it was a great arrow coming out onto Ty. Ty was able to live there. Excuse me, but due to the lack of DPS. But that was definitely.
looks like Underage Rat wants to go for the dragon, but not gonna be able to kick Glada over the pit. But Q able to go right back. Shutdown goes towards the Ashe, though, on from the Lee Sin. Flash W coming in from the Rel. Does she have a... Oh, yes, locking up 3 members here. Double commit, 3-man shockwave. Very good. Ty alive, but Ezreal is dead. Best Puncher doesn't have the damage anymore. Counters, does get the Ashe ult off. Is going to give her one more auto off. Goes TP on the way chasing as well. But it looks like Evil Gambit's here. No. Managed to get the kill onto the Orianna, but best Evil Gambit does have that W. Will he ever get the massive fist off? Gets 1,002 damage onto it. He's still looking for more. He's trying to get a Conqueror. He's trying to stack up as much as he can, but he doesn't use an auto attack. Another shutdown going straight towards the Ashe. That must be around 2,000 gold in the pocket of counters right now.
He just picked up 3 shutdowns on the map. 2,900 gold in his pocket.
3,000. Wow.
He's gonna please buy a damage item here and start carrying these fights. I think his positioning has been great. It just doesn't have the damage. I believe the next item should be IE. He's sitting on that pickaxe, but we shall see. I think a little bit of over-aggression from DZG. They're playing sloppy, thinking they have a gold lead, not respecting the pick potential coming out from VBU, and VBU is punishing them accordingly.
Yeah, in fact, I think I could argue and say that VBU are ahead right now. They have 2 Mountain Dragons, and they have a lot of that scaling that they really want for the resistances for their front line. Not to mention, the Ashe picked up a Rage Blade. Quite interesting there, but I think it would make sense in terms of Wit's End as well. So some different itemization here.
Amplifies the Wit's End damage. I mean, it works out. I don't want to say it works out, but I think it makes sense that the Rage Blade was picked with was built with the Wit's End. Is it the most optimal build? Probably not, but at least they're committing to the build path, which is good.
Yeah, and another thing is actually that, Counters is able to hit 3 items way faster, not just through that huge 3,000 gold bounty that, she managed to collect overall, but just the farm numbers as well. 245 compared to 179. That's a lot of CS difference to be making up for, and definitely another reason why, the Ashe is really accelerated right now.
Yeah. Definitely has a pretty big CS lead. Most CS on the Rift right now for this Ashe, coming up at 250 CS at 30 minutes. It's pretty much on her right now. I think she needs to position correctly, use the arrow defensively and aggressively at the same time. It's hard to... I know what I said is contradicting, but you need to... Oh, she's going to use it aggressively. Cross map arrow does land. Binding on top.
Gets the binding as well. Great CC chain onto the side of Ty. Does get a bit of health back from the potion and the stopwatch, but looks like she's long gone for this world. Shockwave as a consolation, taking me down with you, but Ghost TP managed to shrug it off, and looks like that VBU are going to pick up this tower as well. And it seems like DZG might have slightly thrown this game, honestly.
Momentum. All the momentum is in VBU's favor right now. The kills don't show it, but the gold lead is even, and VBU is going to posture forward here in an aggressive posture and look to grab some more turrets and some more global gold for their team.
Dragon's up in a minute 30. It's gonna be Mountain Soul, but we see teleport coming down from Evil Ram, but he's really far away. He's not able to catch up to them in time. The Underage Rat does want to look for the play here. Q does land onto the Ashe, does have the flash and the kick, but chooses not to go for it. DZG are choosing to hold a bit of caution here, as I think they kind of realize that they're slightly behind right now.
Yeah, with that spell shield available, it's really hard for Lee Sin to, look for those insect plays, because if the spell shield comes out, your ultimate is consumed and nothing really happens, and next thing you know, you're in the middle of 5 members of the opposite team and you're just instantly popped.
Yeah, and I actually I want to point out a really interesting item here. Like, Glada has gone for, I think that's Anathema's Chains. So, I wonder which target that the Sejuani would have picked onto, but definitely, very, very good item here to go for. Very gives the Sejuani and the rest of the team good ability to kind of focus down one of those squishy carries like the Ezreal or the Orianna. And I think it's actually going to be really impactful to the fight, considering that, oh, it's on the Ezreal as well. Yeah, thank you, Ponto, for pointing that out. yeah, if Sejuani manages to get the jump on, just with the Sunfire ticks and the W base damage, that's going to do a lot of damage to Ezreal, who doesn't really have the resistances, and is opting for the Sorola's Grudge instead of Frozen Heart.
Yeah.
Oh, Ash Arrow comes down onto Under Trap, but the tenacity is really good. Only a few milliseconds to see, but Flash, 5-man engaged from the side of Ghost TP. Good Shockwave though to peel back. Teleport coming in from BTG on the back line. Ezreal ult does go down. Under Trap gets the Q on towards the Mordekaiser, but it looks like the pick go down onto Orianna. Counters does kite forward with the auto attack. Counters might be in trouble against hooked by Thresh. Evil Gambit with a 5-man ultimate lands down. 3-man stun. Looks to get the W. Can he do enough 2 damage? No, he goes wide with the W there. Evil Gambit looking in trouble here. Killer Unicorn restoring up so much health with that Rift Maker. Looks like that's going to be all for the fight, but great picks from the side of VBU. Really kind of pushing the pace here and making the engages really hard for DBU to answer.
Mountain Soul. Mountain Soul and the Sejuani and Rel and Mordekaiser is going to be really scary. I don't know how... I mean, DZG need to really push the pace if they want to stay relevant, but it seems like a lot of their members are getting outscaled, most particularly the Lee Sin. He's not really been able to have any impact. He was 5-1 at one point, but at this point in the game, he's just kind of kick bot, and if the kick doesn't land, he just kind of dies. And it's going to get worse as these fights go on.
And another thing, if you notice, is that he actually didn't use the ult last fight. He still has that ultimate ready, or if that's just the cooldown, I'm not sure, but you know, it didn't really seem like there was a significant impact kick there. And, you know, like we were saying at the start of the draft, if DZG don't get the ball rolling early ahead and maintain that lead, it's actually really difficult for them to fight a fight. And as we feel Ash Arrow again going down onto Thresh, Rel crash down, is able to lock up the Thresh for a very long time, but Set ult comes down, managed to get some CC, does get the W off, but not enough true grip. Orianna's tanking the tower as she teleports over, so she's already half health. Counters with the Black Shield all the way forward, walking up all that much. Gladda also trying to walk forward and deal as much damage. The Anathema's chain is really chunking there. Now, but Ty, look at that tower shot coming in from downtown, from bottom wave. Again, VBU get a posture towards the Baron here. Mountain Soul keeping them nice and healthy. Most of them are near full health right now.
Yeah, they're just going to walk forward and look to, you know, take this Baron. I think they can just, posture up forward. Ash is stepping forward.
Is going on to Best Plunger. Best Plunger might be in trouble here. Does have the flash, but uses Arcane Shift to get away. Counters is looking massive right now. 4 items on this Ashe, 8, 3, and 7. Even though Counters had a rough early game where there wasn't much going on for the team, he managed to maintain the farm numbers and keep himself relevant.
Yeah. Really, really strong, resilient play coming out for VBU. They were in a significant goal deficit, and that one Baron steal coming out from the Sejuani pivoted the game in their favor. They took that Baron momentum and pressure that they had to snowball, pick up those 3 to 4 shutdowns for their Ashe, and here they are with the gold lead here, with Mountain Soul, with Baron buff, looking to close out the game.
Yeah, and just when we were saying, like, you know, that DZG had like a, 8,000 gold leads, come right back into 4,000 gold lead right now for VBU. So really good play from behind and just be able to turn the tides around. But Evil Gambit might be looking for a flank here, looks for a flash, but ults the Sejuani and does nothing. W is available, huge 2 damage, 1,374, but the Mountain Soul tanking up so much damage there. So Underage Rat is forced to go into Guardian Angel, looks like he's going to be caught out as well. DZG onto him, he does get the kickoff, but no effect there. Picks up the kill onto the Lee Sin. And looks like VBU are going to be able to push for an inhibitor here.
Yeah, it feels like there's so much desperation coming out from DZG in their plays, and it's really hard for Set to just walk in and do anything. He needs to get a flank angle, and if he's unable to get it, he just gets kited down like we saw there in that last fight. We just see something pop on the screen. Bear with us. Sorry about that.
Apologies. Yeah, but yeah, again, back to, you know, they're pushing in towards the Nexus, and once again, like, you know, the Set engage is definitely a problem, but another thing is you can't ult a Black Shielded Sejuani. It's not going to have the same impact and damage. See Crash Down going onto the Ezreal. Counters is dominating now. No QSS, no cleanse, and just gets locked up. You know, no real chance to do any damage. And again, okay, Set ult coming in, gets the pull down, but they're focusing on Nexus. Oh my god, huge fist from the side of Evil Gambit. True damage, picks up the instant triple kill. Counter's also in trouble here. The shutdown goes towards the Thresh, but Killer Unicorns is trying to hit the Nexus. Does he have the ult? No, it's just him against the ward right now. Baron Minions are trying to hit up the Nexus as well, but looks like Killer Unicorns is going to get shut down by the Lee Sin, and it's going to be the base though. They're going to end the game from the Minions. VBU wins 2-1.
Yeah, VBU with a reverse sweep, picking up that victory there, taking the series 2-1. Great last-dish effort coming out from the set with that AoE damage. I don't think that was balanced right. Maybe you want to tweak those numbers just a little bit. But nonetheless, great resilience coming out from Valor Bulls to come back from that significantly strong early game from DZG. And they're going to be able to take this week 1 game and take a 1-0 start to the season.
Yeah, and that was just an incredible way that the game ended. Even though DZG got the ace, just the amount of minions that were there, Killer Unicorns was able to buy so much time.
Yeah. I think that last game, Counters was definitely the person who was able to bring the game back after that Baron steal coming out from Gala. So props to them and congratulations. That's should be all we have. That should be all we have for you guys tonight. Thank you for joining us. Any last words, Jason, before I sign us out?
No, absolutely. Today's been a wonderful game. Although Stun Gaming lost, so I'm a bit sad about that. But otherwise, great games today. Really wonderful action. And thank you all for joining us.
Yeah. We will be back tomorrow for our Uncap League AVL and our Diamond 1 Cap League ADL group draw at 3 o'clock. Make sure to tune in and show some support. We appreciate everybody tuning in for AGL Week 1 here. Huge thank you to my co-caster Jason here and to our wonderful producer in the headset here, Quanta. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will see you guys tomorrow.